You just think you need somebody to challenge Mr. Jones and to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's what the plan is. Let's do it. Give me the
Yeah.
resources I need." Go ahead, Simon. I mean, you're
I
you're,
just,
you're itching for it because I know
I am.
you
I
and
am.
you know how I feel about it because I'm like, this guy is just not a good owner. Period.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, you know that you're right. I can't even believe you believe this stuff coming out of your mouth right now. You think he's going to make a different decision than he's
Hell no.
made in the last 5 or 6 coaches? This is a billionaire, man. These guys don't take yes, no from nobody. They are yes. They are no. They don't listen to nobody, man.
Yeah.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Couch Potatoes. Of course, I'm your host, Jake Cubs, joined as always by Feisty, but we got a very, very special guest this time, Mr. Alan Seim, a Philly Jawn himself out there in Philly right now, loving life, as we'll get into a little bit later. But welcome, as we call you, Seim. Happy to have you on here. And yeah, how you feeling about this Philly team so far and the NFL
Um,
season as a whole?
yeah. Well, I mean, I could spend all night talking about this.
Ah.
But I'll tell you what, in about a week, when we win next week, they'll be greasing the poles up all over the city. I'm serious. It'll
Yep.
start, and it's about to get. It's really fun at the energy of the city. I mean, especially like we're at Eagles Town, like we're Eagles first, and then Philly second. Um, but when the Eagles are rolling, man, you can just feel the energy all over the city. Everywhere you go, it's go birds this, go birds that. What do you think of this? I mean, it's just like I don't know. It's just a huge part of the culture,
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
which is I mean it's great stuff.
Hey, man. The only
But
birds I want to be doing the Eagles is these birds, baby.
yeah,
But
I
I mean,
hear you.
he is 100% correct on that, man. I feel like you guys have the craziest fan base, just
Yeah,
super loud, super like. I think the Cowboys are bad, but the Eagles are just another level
yeah, yeah,
of fan base.
yeah.
So
It's good. It's good stuff. I mean, people can get crazy at the games. It's not like it used to. The money is kind of pricing the every man out of the games. You know, like
yeah,
Mhm.
you're talking 200 minimum for crappy seats, and
yikes.
um, so the behavior is not as raucous. I know you see stuff online. They take these little snippets out, like
Yeah.
that guy with the c word and all that. I mean, that was horrible.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's just somebody that probably drank too much. But I'll tell you a story about that. Do you know the video I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
So,
about.
do you know the kid had a GoPro on him, right? So he wanted this action to happen. He was wearing a
Yeah.
GoPro, and he's from Westchester. He's not a Green Bay fan, dude.
Oh,
He is from right outside of the city.
Mm.
So my instinct, or what I think, is he was trying to make something go viral,
Yeah.
and antagonizing and instigating that whole mess because he knew, he has a GoPro. He's from here. This is not someone that traveled from Wisconsin. You know what I mean? To come to that game.
yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah, 100%.
So
It's
whatever. Hopefully he does it in the
2025,
city.
man. But anyways, good to have you on. Let's get into some football. Let's get into the news before we get into divisional weekend. So, Feisty, your boy Bo Nix, he's been playing with a fractured back apparently since November. So, a month plus into the playoffs. What a dog, dude.
Dude, I've been telling people, man, this guy's a dog. He continues to show, if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels and how well he's playing, honestly, this guy's rookie of the year in my book and a lot of people's book, like, right? And so, realistically, to see that he's been going through this and performing the way he's performing, I'm so excited for him, man. I'm excited for what he's about to do next season. He's kind of one of those like study the game, Drew Brees kind of quarterback, Peyton Manning quarterback. Um,
Mhm.
Not super like agile and like the flashy Lamar Jackson, but he can go as well. But realistically, he's kind of study the game, smart guy. You always make the joke. He's been in college for like whatever 10 years,
Yep.
but I mean, he's just a smart guy, and I think that's cool that he was able to push through that. And it sucks the way the playoffs ended for him, but we'll see what happens next year for him.
Yeah, dude's a dog, man, and he didn't miss a single game. I don't think not written a single snap. He was out there. So now going from a dog to not a dog.
More like
Deontay Johnson,
dog shit.
dog shit. He got waived by the Texans before their playoff game. Man, this dude's a cancer, man. Like I don't know why did they even sign him. Like, does he have a future in the NFL?
I mean, all I gotta say to this guy is, man, yeah, cancerous. Like, you do not want this guy in your locker room. You definitely do not want this guy anywhere near any team just because his attitude is terrible, his playing is terrible. Dude, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play football, a sport that you love so much. And once again, I said it again and again, Steelers receivers, something
Something
about
about their
them.
mental.
What was
Something about their mental.
what was the reason that they gave for his release?
I know there was something about him not wanting, or I think that they asked him to go into the game. I know he did that with the Ravens as
Ravens,
well.
yeah.
There's something weird.
He
He
just
just
didn't perform like anything like they wanted him to be,
couldn't get
and
on the field, and I don't think he was showing enough to try. You know what I mean? To try
yo,
and learn the playbook, to try and be a good teammate, anything like that. So, I mean, I can't believe that the Texans signed him, but maybe they were trying to get maybe some intel on the Ravens if they ended up playing, but that it didn't work out anyways. So,
yo,
yeah, hopefully he figures it out and gets something going, but it's not looking good for him. But all right, let's move into the head coach GM cycle. And the Titans hired a new GM, former assistant GM Mike Borgonzi from Kansas City. So
Whoa.
definitely a good choice to look if you wanna get some success, get some guys from Kansas City.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. That's part of the Andy Reid coaching tree right there.
yep,
Everything that they've touched probably for the last 15 years, you can see its influence all throughout the league. We'll see what he can do over there in Tennessee. I don't know, man.
yeah. They definitely need a lot of help, man. And it
Yeah,
could start out with hiring, this new GM, and then you draft your franchise quarterback, Cam Ward. So it could be a good potential. I think that they had something really going well when like I hate on them
When
because
Mike Vrabel was there.
yeah, and I hate on him because of like the Marcus Mariota situation. They had him, and then they turned on him and went to Ryan Tannehill, and then he just did not turn out to be what they thought they were. And then whatever Will Levis or whatever his name was, he was over there too, and he's freaking booty cheeks. So yeah, this is a good change for them, and I think that this is the start of it, and it could go a long way for them if they just kind of give it a couple more years to fix some things in the organization themselves.
yeah. All those guys you just named, they're just guys, man. I mean, they're no
Mm-hmm.
big names right there.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's crazy. This quarterback league. I mean, it may be shifting. We'll see what happens with all this running game stuff going on.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't mean to derail anything right here. I got a friend in Dallas who said Jerry Jones did not did not take Derrick Henry's call, and Derrick Henry wanted to play with the Cowboys before signing with the Ravens. And
Hey.
I heard it from my friend Tommy, who lives out there. He listens to what is it, K whatever their radio
Yeah,
station
the
is.
radio show is, yeah.
Um, and I don't put it past him, my guy. I'm just saying.
Dude, I wouldn't even not believe you on that just because of the stupid stuff Jerry Jones does, man. Like, realistically, I get that Derrick Henry, I don't think he would have the season he's having with the Cowboys, but it's Derrick Henry. Like, how do you not? You need a running game. You don't have a running game, but you're like, nah,
Yeah,
not picking
it's
that
insane.
up.
Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry for derailing that. I can't help myself. This
Uh,
just kind of bubbles out of me,
It
man. I've been
oozes
waiting for
out of you.
this.
Well,
I've been waiting for
let's keep
this.
it. Hey, let's keep it rolling. I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought it up.
All
Speaking of
right.
that, Jerry Jones, man, he is talking to Deion Sanders. Apparently, they have talked about the head coaching opportunity. I did see, like, on an interview, Pac-Man Jones, who knows Deion well, said that he's going to stay at Colorado, but he at least takes the call. Feist, I know this is one of the more intriguing names that you've seen. What do you think of Deion in Dallas?
Dude, I think that this could be the big game changer that they need just because you need somebody who's going to disagree with Mr. Old Man Jerry Jones. You need somebody who's not a yes man. You need somebody that's like, this is the way we need to do things, and I need you to give me resources. And that's what Dion Primetime would bring in. He would bring in Primetime back to the Cowboys. And realistically, this last like 6 years, 4 years that Mike McCarthy's been there, it's just been sad. One and done playoff, first round exits. You have a winning season, and then you're trash the next season. So there's a reason why our division teams or division rivals or whatever you want to call them, but opponents are doing so well. Eagles are all in, Commanders are all in. So it's like, what are we doing, man? It's the same shit every year, and nothing has really realistically changed. And this could be the start of the change. Now there's a lot of questions of like, okay, well, so if Dion gets the coaching position, does he bring Shador with him, right? I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. You would have to make some kind of movement with Dak. We kind of talked about this a little bit offline, but like you would have to find a way to move that big contract that you just gave Dak, and I don't know who's willing to take on that. So
Well, you got, I mean, Kellen Moore, the Eagles' offensive coordinator, just interviewed with them
he
yesterday,
did.
Saturday.
Hmm.
Well, they said it was a phone call or whatever. So don't be surprised if he is, I mean, right up there on the list with Dion. I'm just saying, he and Dak had a great relationship. Dak did great things under him. He is
Hmm.
not the style of offense. He is not for us. This is not how you coach
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts. This is not a fit. Now of course, I have issues with my head coach because he don't even call plays, which means every year we have turnover. Offensive, defensive coordinator gone every year.
Yep.
yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
mean, it's nonsensical.
Well,
Well,
and
and
then
I
that,
know. Sorry, go ahead, Feist.
oh no, I was just gonna say, I know that like if you get, and maybe you're gonna say this, but like you get Kellen Moore, he's still a yes man. Like he's already
Hmm.
been with the Dallas organization, so realistically, that does not change the culture. You need somebody to come in and put players in shape and put players on notice. Not be afraid of the publicity that you get from being in the Cowboys. Like they are the most expensive franchise. They're worth $10 billion for a reason. But where is that, right? Like, there's nothing that's coming out of it that's realistically saying the Cowboys are getting better every year. And Kellen Moore, I just don't see, as much as I think he's a good offensive coach and he's a great mind, I just don't see him really thriving in that head coach position because you're going to have Jerry Jones being the GM, the owner, and realistically, he's going to be the freaking head coach
Yeah.
because Kellen Moore would let him walk over him.
Hey,
I was just gonna say he has a good relationship. Apparently, that's something that came out is that they have a good relationship with the Jones family. The Jones family likes Kellen Moore, and it was similar to the way they like Jason Garrett. And like we
Yeah,
talked about him, where he stayed on so long, they
8
almost
years.
viewed him as a son. You know what I mean? With
Yep.
how long they kept him and everything. So yeah, I think you're right. Kellen Moore would be a yes man. Maybe a smarter decision as far as like he like you said, he's a better head coach maybe than Dion would be, just as far as his experience. He's been coordinator before in the NFL.
Yeah.
Dion's obviously done some great things. I feel like recruiting wise, I feel like he's more of a college coach because of his name, because of the way he presents himself. It works for the college game. I don't know how it would work for the NFL. But I do think you're right. He has been there before. Obviously, he was a star, a Hall of Fame player during some of his years in Dallas. So he knows the star. He knows Jerry Jones. He knows what that all brings, and he's ready for it. That doesn't scare him at all. We all know
Yeah.
that. But I wonder how that would work. So it's like you're just in this limbo where what do you pick? You pick the yes man that has some experience play calling, but might not be a leader of men. You know what I mean? That you need from that
Yeah.
head coach position, or do you go with someone like Dion? I do know that they interviewed Robert Sala as well. I think he would be the same kind of thing, yes man type thing. He would do whatever Jerry says.
Yep.
And then I saw a report today that your offensive coordinator, current offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, is the betting favorite to being the head coach. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I that's still, even then you're, yeah, you just need somebody. I realistically just think you need somebody to challenge Mr. Jones and to say, "Hey, here's what the plan is. Let's do it." give me the
Yeah.
resources I need. Go ahead, Simon. I mean,
Okay, so
you're itching for it because I know
I am.
you
I
and
am.
you know how I feel about it because I'm like, this guy is just not a good owner. Period.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, you know that you're right. I can't even believe you believe this stuff coming out of your mouth right now. You think he's going to make a different decision than he's
Hell no.
made in the last 5 or 6 coaches? This is a billionaire, man. These guys don't take yes, no from nobody. They are yes. They are no. They don't listen to nobody, man.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I will say this. I heard this funny thing. I'm not going to quote it right, but they said Dallas's last NFC championship that they won
Oh yeah.
was closer to the Apollo moon landing, which was like 1969, I think, than the present day. That's how long this has been happening.
This man came in and said, "I chose violence today." Fines, you're getting it. I'm sick of hearing from you all this time, man. Oh my god. I couldn't agree with you more, man. This franchise is not doing well, and they're gonna
Yeah,
continue not to do well. You
He
just,
stopped watching games, Sim. He stopped
dude.
watching. He's so
yeah, I
sick of
know.
it. He's like, Nothing's gonna
Yeah.
change. It's a
It's the
shit
same.
product we're putting
Yeah.
out there."
Hey,
But
man, bro. They can draft. They draft nice players. They are not the worst drafters. They're
They,
not.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're not. It's just all the tampering. I mean, it's just going on and on. It's so wonderful. So wonderful. Live forever, Jerry.
Well,
Live forever.
you have a great player like Ashton Genty who's like saying, I want to come play for the Cowboys. Hello, you need a running back. Like the guy carried Boise State to a playoffs and like carried them to the third ranking in the nation. Like who's Boise State? Nobody knows Boise State until Ashton Genty, right? And so like I could see him doing something stupid and not even getting a running back. There's
Yeah.
that Texas running back as well who we thought he was gonna go last year, and so I'm just confused, man. At this point, I love the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, I'm an NFL fan. So
Yeah.
until they start figuring out what they're doing,
Yeah.
because at this point, I could go play Madden and play a better GM than freaking Jerry Jones, man. This guy is confusing.
That- yeah, I get you, man. I get you. Here, the last thing is, but you are correct. If he does hire Dion D, I mean, dude, I grew up with this guy, man.
Yeah,
He's not going to listen to anybody but himself. And that is fine. That's probably what they
that's
need
what they
right now.
need.
So if
Yeah.
Jerry does pivot in that direction,
yep,
it's not guaranteeing anything. Okay. I
no,
mean, you got to figure Dion, what he was like 2 years at a HBCU, a historical black college and
yeah,
university. Then he
yeah,
transferred. He used that as a stepping stone, which I'm a little bit mad at him
Mhm.
because, anyways, it's just where I'm from and stuff like that. He used it as a stepping stone to get the Colorado job. He did have some success,
yep,
okay, at the Colorado
Brought
job.
them to
But
relevancy for sure.
it's not like it won't take him a few years to get his legs under him either. You know what I mean? That's not like a plug and place. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It'll
100%.
take
And
some
he's not
time.
afraid of the media. That's the thing is
Oh,
he
yeah.
uses the media so well,
Yeah.
and the Cowboys are always in the media. You have
Yeah.
Jerry Jones saying, "I didn't like," just some of the dumbest things that you've ever heard an owner say,
Oh, it's
and
great.
I
Oh, I
just
love
feel
it.
like
The dumbest.
Yeah, Dion just could change that whole thing around, and so
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. I think he goes with another yes man, whether that's our offensive coordinator, which I didn't even realistically think he had a chance, or you go with Kellen Moore or Robert Sala. I would love Robert Sala as our defensive head coach because I think he has a great defensive mind
Yeah.
and he's so good at it. And so it's like to him to be an off a head coach again, and I feel like Jerry Jones and the Jets owner have the same mentality and same kind of like
Yeah.
business minded,
Mhm.
and so it's like it's just gonna be the same stuff for him. And
Yeah.
realistically, like I said, man, over and over again, you need somebody to challenge that man and to get him out of his
Yeah.
throne and just be
I
an
got you.
owner. Don't be a GM. Don't be a blah blah blah. Just you
Yeah.
own this team, and that's it. That's the only headlines you should be making is Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, did this. That's it. But that will never happen.
But that's
So
not Jerry, just like you said.
Yeah.
Simon wants him to live forever, as does all
Live
of the
forever,
Philly
baby.
Johns over there. So
He's
let's
still
move on
looking
from
good.
that
He's still
poverty
looking good.
franchise. Yeah. Oh man, let's move on for that poverty franchise and get on to a good one. The New England Patriots, baby, your 6-time Super Bowl champions, who are getting back because of Mike Vrabel and what he's looking for. He's looking for some new coordinators. We talked about it a little bit last time. He did confirm that Josh McDaniels is on a long list of the candidates. I love that he's going through this process and he's going to make sure, Josh McDaniels, as Mike Vrabel, feels like the obvious choice for this job.
yeah.
But I like that he's doing his work, he's doing his due diligence, making sure this is going to be what's best for Drake May, for the whole team, the offense, everything like that. So obviously we know that I want Josh McDaniels back here in New England as the OC. I love that he's looking for it, and we'll have to see what he does at defensive coordinator as well. He is keeping the special teams coordinator, maybe the one good thing of the Patriots last year besides Drake May. We had an all-pro at special teamer and one of the best punters in the league. So Jeremy Springer staying on. But yeah, we're looking for that new OC, and Josh McDaniels might be coming back to where he's had by far the most success in his career, because we all know he's been pretty dog shit everywhere else.
Yeah, he's tried to be a coach elsewhere, and it has not turned out to be the best thing for him. So, just short on this one, but like, I just think that this would be a good move for him and good move for the New England organization to bring back where he was successful and to keep that train going, because you have a young quarterback who's ready, who's going to be your franchise quarterback that could turn things around for you, and you have the fourth pick of the draft this year, and they've also always drafted really well. So yeah, I just think this is a definitely good move for them.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. And you know what I'm really excited about? There's not just one quarterback engaged in the AFC East anymore. Drake May's engaged, baby. So he's the new awesome, amazing, talented, and I don't know, he's like a baby, so I feel weird saying he's as hot as Josh Allen, but love Drake May. Congrats on the engagement, and yet everything's up from here for that kid, man. He's gonna take us places, especially with Vrabel. So love to see it. Let's get some news in about
Hold on,
Wesley.
hold on,
Oh,
hold on,
oh,
hold on. You said you're getting really fired up and excited, right?
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. I sent you a text, right? And you never responded because I think you were mad at me, okay? And I
Okay.
said, it don't matter who you bring in, they need to
Mhm.
rebuild this team. You are bragging about an all-pro kicker and a special teams player? My God.
At least we had an all pro last year, okay? This year,
Oh no.
we talked about it a lot. I like what Vrabel will bring. I think he's going to
I,
turn around the culture. We're not going to win. We're not going to win the AFC East. We're not going to win a playoff game next year. But I think if we go the right way, we go through the offensive line, which I feel confident that he will prioritize. I think we're going to get back, because we could see, like I was talking about it when the Patriots had a chance for one pick. I do not want Travis Hunter. Like, he might be dynamic, he might be great, but Drake May can throw to anybody, and he showed that this year. But he couldn't stay on his feet. We need to get an offensive line. Look what they have there in Philly. Look at Dallas's most successful years of recent memory. Like, at least, even though they didn't win the playoff games, they had the best offensive line.
Right.
That's where the game starts. It's where the
yeah.
game is won, in the trenches. So I think Vrabel will definitely prioritize that. And yeah, the Patriots fans, we always like to talk about the glory days and act like we're coming back. I get it.
Sounds like the
Might take
new
some time.
Cowboys, baby.
I can see, hey, maybe Vrabel, if he prioritizes the offensive line, we have Drake May, we build that up, we get the defense back to some relevancy. We might be 7-8
Yeah.
8-win team next season.
Bro, I mean, it's my personal opinion. I think he's the right hire.
Yep.
Absolutely. He's not a 1 year hire. He has
Yep.
Nope.
proven that. This is not a stopgap. This is someone that I mean, what deal did he sign? How many years? 3?
I don't know if I've seen the official deal come up. I think it's only like
Okay.
multi-year or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a multi. I mean, the guy's a proven coach. He's done a lot with not that much. He's going to have to do that again. But
Yep.
that being said, I when you're building a team, man, yeah, you're absolutely right, Kyle. You got to start in the trenches, man.
Yep.
I even start with an offensive line before I draft my quarterback, man. I'm telling
100%.
you, man, you got to get that line before, you know what I mean, before the
Yeah.
quarterback, right?
And the Patriots had the worst, like
Yeah,
32 out of 32 in the league. Their offensive line was terrible. They didn't even
yeah.
know what they're doing out there, man.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there are a lot of quarterbacks out there that let's say you draft a couple offensive linemen and you start getting big there, right? You don't
Hmm.
have to worry about the quarterback right away. You can get another quarterback. I know it's going to take a couple years. You can get
Yeah.
somebody to get the team at a respectable level, start building the culture. You start to move all the draft pieces into place. People are so impatient about these rebuilds. I mean, it's
Hmm.
like they just want to instantly to instantly do it, and the
Yeah.
NFL's not the league to do that. It is
Yep.
not the league to do that. Forget about it.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to win playoff games, like I said, but we have the most cap space in the NFL. We have the number 4 pick, like Vice mentioned. If we do it the right way, like I said, be patient. You put the pieces in place. You could do it. I mean, look what they did in Houston. They're not winning Super Bowls, but they had the number 2 pick. They got C.J. Stroud, traded for Will Anderson with the 3rd pick. Look what he's doing in the NFL right now. And they built that culture back up, and that's what I think
Yeah,
Vrabel could do. So.
yeah. Who's not to interrupt, but who's available in the quarterback market right now? Like who's gonna cut? Who's gonna open up for you guys?
I mean,
The
there's
Patriots?
still.
Yeah, like
We
who's out there after this year that can do a serviceable
we don't
job?
need no quarterback, dude. Drake May's the real deal. Drake May's the real deal.
Okay,
But here's the
I
thing, though.
promise you that.
okay.
Here's the thing, though.
I
Like, I
remember
do
you
like
wore
what
this
Simon.
jersey. I remember you
Uh,
wore this
Yeah, he
jersey
was not the real deal, but that's different. That's
when we
different.
went
I
to go
take
see
over him.
that game.
Hey,
I take
give him a
over
couple
him.
years, and he might be talking differently.
We needed to be talking about that guy.
Oh my
Drake
god.
May's
No,
different,
but I
though.
do
He's
like what
different.
Simon's saying, though. I think that like you can always go through veteran quarterbacks and like
Hmm.
keep signing one after one every year and just kind of make it through and
Yeah,
just keep collecting those draft picks. But you start building up that old line
yeah,
consistently. That's gonna make a big splash on your team, and that's gonna
yeah,
help when you do
Yeah.
have that quarterback in. Especially these young quarterbacks, they want to be mobile. They want to try to get out of the pocket, and if they don't need to, and you have the all the right pieces in,
yeah,
everybody's playing checkers, and you can be playing, chess, as they
Hmm.
always say. So, I love that, and I think that that's a good point to have. Is you can sign a player like Mr. Garbage Russell Wilson, or all these like young, not young, but older guys for 1 year deals, and then move them on and continue to move pieces as you
Yeah.
start to build. But I do like Drake May, and I think he is the guy for you guys. It just depends on what kind of weapons you
Well, and it's too
realistically can
late,
surround
obviously,
him.
because we started him. You
cross
know
your
what I
fingers.
mean? Like
Yep.
we started him, like we talked about all last season, or
Yeah.
yeah, all this season. Like I wanted Drake May to sit this whole year. Jacoby Brissett was clearly the wrong choice
Yeah,
to bring in to be the bridge quarterback, and so they had their hand forced, had to play Drake May. Wish we could have had maybe Joe Flacco. I think could have done a little bit better in that situation,
Yeah.
But we are where we're at right now. So if we can protect Drake May and just let him develop, keep the process going, we'll be good. So, all
Yep.
right, from one young quarterback, let's go to another old ass quarterback. That would be Mr. Aaron Rodgers, Feisty's favorite quarterback in the NFL, maybe behind Dak. I don't know. We'd have to see there,
I'd
but
have to test that one out.
he said he is waiting to see who the Jets hire as a GM and head coach before he makes his official decision on whether he wants to return just to play in the NFL or for the Jets. And we obviously, Feisty, we know your opinion on this. We know that you think he should just hang it up, retire, be done. Seim, do you think he should be the next quarterback next year for the New York Jets or any other team, or is it time for that man to hang it up?
I mean, why wasn't he successful this year? Why is he going to be successful? Why is he going to be successful next year? You're seeing what you get, man. The guy also, he's had some mental decline too, man. The guy he's a bit unstable in my opinion.
Ashwagandha's
And
not working.
yeah, man, I don't even know. Look, he's acting like he's in a driver's seat or something like that. He is
Mm-hmm.
not. He is not in the driver's seat in this negotiation. This is another billionaire that owns a team. He's not. He's not going to kowtow to Aaron to a 50-year-old quarterback. Okay, this is It's too much. What you see was what you know what I mean.
Yeah, no,
It was
100%.
fruitless. It was fruitless.
And the
Yeah.
hard part is too is that like you look at the how selfish of him to say he's gonna wait until he gets like until the GM is put in place. Like, why does that matter? As a you should be you're the quarterback, you're the franchise guy. You should be willing to just jump in no matter what. I believe that he got Robert Saleh fired. He got Devontae Adams. He got all of his guys. And look at the season he's had. Like average, not even average, probably below average of a Aaron Rodgers standard. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what are the Jets doing? Move on. You moved on from Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson was probably last couple years. Like you look at the stats, like Zach Wilson had actually a better stats than Aaron Rodgers, and that's sad to say because of the way Zach Wilson is.
Yeah.
But to me, I just feel like it's time to move on. The Jets need to start over and go get their quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers needs to go and do his summer retreat forever because it's just whatever ashwagandha, whatever he's been taking, Alaska, whatever it is, it's not working, man. It's not keeping him
Alaska.
young. It's
Ayahuasca.
ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. My God, it's taking Alaska.
It's not working.
Can't
It's
ask my wife if she brought any Alaska home from.
it's just not working, man.
You
It's
know
not
what I
keeping
would
him
think?
young.
I know that his price maybe went down, so maybe the Vikings can keep him. But with Sam Darnold, if you were thinking that was too much, why don't you just follow the Brett Favre career path and bring Aaron Rodgers up there to Minnesota with KOC? I think they
Hell no,
might
I
be able
wouldn't
to
even
figure
take him
something out.
there.
No, you just do a swap, man.
There
I'm
you go.
serious, and I was thinking the same thing as you, Kyle. I think Darnold would be a good fit back in New York, man.
Yeah, especially if you get a good coach around him. He's proved himself to be competent
play
enough,
ball,
and they
man.
got weapons. Yeah, and I think Aaron Rodgers could revitalize his career at least enough to, maybe win him a playoff game. I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl or anything, but Kevin O'Connell's a great offensive mind, and I think with the weapons they have there, and if you can keep Aaron Rodgers upright, they might be able to do something. But
Man, y'all
he
are
ain't
just
doing nothing in
dreaming,
New York,
man.
man.
Y'all are just dreaming. I'm thinking, bro,
No.
hang up. Hang up. Don't call him. Don't make any trades. See you at the
Or
retreat,
maybe in
man.
Dallas. If you want to get rid of Dak Prescott, you can bring
Bro,
Aaron Rodgers in.
I don't know what it was. It was like probably early '90s or something like that. No, mid '90s when Randall Cunningham went over and he went into Minnesota and he had a stint in Minnesota with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And Randall rejuvenated his career for you know what I mean, for like 2 years. Now I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers could do it. He don't got, you know what I mean. Who's he? You
got 1 year. I was selling this guy a long time ago, man.
Well, obviously, we're all just waiting on our seats, dying to figure out what Aaron Rodgers is going to do next season.
You almost still want to see it. You know what I mean? It's fun to watch, man.
It would be interesting. It would be. Bring him to Minnesota. Especially if he'll take something kind of cheaper on the cheaper end for Minnesota. That's exactly what they need. And you can groom JJ McCarthy behind him, see whatever he'll be. But yeah. All right, we'll finish one out real quick before we get into the games because we talked about it last time. Mike Tomlin was apparently under trade consideration. Teams were looking into him, and Mike Tomlin said, "Save your time. Not going to happen. He's going to stay there in Pittsburgh." So I know we talked about it last week, Feisty, where I said, I think it's time for them, for both him and the Steelers, to have a change of scenery, to move on. I think it's just going to be the same old, same old. He's going to be good enough to get them a winning record, get them into the playoffs, and then lose the first playoff game in embarrassing fashion, just like they did this last year. But looks like it's going to be sticking the same in Pittsburgh, man. They're loyal. They're loyal over there. Your cross-state rivals, they don't change very much. They don't fire. They stick with their guys. So I think that, that's exactly what's going to happen for the Steelers.
Well, the hardest part too is I love Mike Tomlin. I think anybody who's an NFL real fan knows the great thing he's done for this game, knows the great thing he's done for the Steelers. But it comes to a point where you got to move on, and I would take Tomlin any day in Dallas. I think that
he could change Dallas, man. He could change Dallas real quick.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
never happened, but if we can at least paint this picture in Feist's mind so that
Yeah,
maybe he
let
could
me
be
be at
happy.
ease, man. Let me get my
Do you just
Ashokanda.
do you just sit in your room and lay on your bed and just look up in the sky with this blank stare on your face, just dreaming of this crap?
Dude, every day of my life, man. I
Wake
wake
up, Tomlin.
I I pray every day, man, that something happens in Steelers or something happens in the Cowboys world, and it doesn't. So, and Mike Tomlin could do it, but the realistic answer is the Steelers have a lot of questions and not enough answers. They have a quarterback issue. They have receivers issue. They have the defense who's been carrying
Running
this
backs
whole
is going to
team,
be
running back.
different next season. Yep.
A lot of questions and not enough answers. And so I think that maybe what they need is that whole, like Simon said, start all over. But realistically, you still have some weapons to start all
Yeah,
over with. But you can't expect your defense to carry you throughout every year and
what?
not have them burn out and have them have a short career because you've seen it in the playoffs. They got exposed very, very quick. And
Yeah.
Russell Wilson looked like Russell Wilson that was trash at the Broncos again. So
What is his? Pardon me. What is his player control? I mean, does he control everything there? I mean, like who does he have all the
Um,
say in the draft? Is he kind of
mm,
like a quasi GM? Like, does he have the keys to the kingdom? You know, because you've got a team that makes the playoffs every year, right? And
yeah,
they overachieve every year.
every year.
Now, if you do that, you have got to have a GM that can draft because you got to find guys in the second, third, fourth, and even the fifth round. You are
right.
not getting anybody that's going to ride in there to save the day, okay? New England was the masters at this. Andy Reid is excellent at it. You know, they make the playoffs every year. And Howie Roseman, I mean, he's unbelievable,
Hmm.
right? They make the playoffs every year. They
Yeah.
make runs, and they end up getting A minus A ratings in the draft every year. I mean, they got. I mean, you got to think. I just don't think they've had the person. I'm being honest. I don't think they've had the
Yeah,
personality.
and I know they got Omar Khan as their GM, the con artist they call him. And he's made some good moves. Like he get that trade for Justin Fields. I think they had got him for like a fourth or fifth round or something like that.
I think it was the fifth
And
round.
yeah, so I don't think it's not all control. I'm sure he definitely has, like say on certain things. Like I know Vrabel is going to have that where they talk about like he's going to have the GM personnel to take over that load of the work. But when it comes down to like, hey, we did all this work. Tomlin, what do you think of this? That's, I think, how, the situation works. So Tomlin probably still has like final say on certain things, but lets
Yeah,
other guys kind of do the work there. But yeah, it's just like you said, Simon, you put it perfectly, overachieving every single year. And the way they overachieve is just by barely making the playoffs. Like,
yeah,
and what that puts them into is a situation where you're drafting 15, 23 every
yeah,
single year. You know what I mean? And so,
yep,
and sometimes there's guys right there. Sometimes there are
Yeah.
for sure. But, I talk about them all the time, Drake May, and we talk about Jaden Daniels over there in Washington. Those guys don't fall to
no,
15. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so you're either gonna, and hey, if you're Philly and you make NFC championships, you make Super Bowls, who cares? Yeah, you can draft in the 30s and
yeah,
stuff. And we see the Chiefs do it all the time. The Bills, like you said, the Patriots back in the day, that's where they always drafted, and
yeah.
they got some good guys around there. But you need franchise changing guys. You're never gonna get them in that
Gonna get him.
purgatory. Yeah.
Never going to get him. Then you need a GM that can target free agents. You need a GM that can maneuver around in the draft. You know, whether that means moving up, moving back.
Yep.
And I do want to add one more thing, Kyle. The word around here is now. Listen to this. You're going to love this. So Lori, our owner, is getting old, right? And he's going to pass the business over to his kid, and they think it's going to be like in the next 5 years or something like that. Okay. Now, I have heard that the kid doesn't get along that well with Howie Roseman, and
Ooh.
Howie Roseman is from Boston.
Ooh.
So it and I just heard, and they talk about this on the radio here every once in a while. They run out of stuff to talk about,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
they're talking about what happens because Howie Roseman is like, I mean, he's almost the face of the franchise. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah. He is. Yeah.
the
I
things
would
he's
agree.
doing are unbelievable, and I'm not sure that Lori's kid, you know what I mean, wants to be in the shadow of a GM and that he wants to make his mark. And Howie is a young guy, And but I don't know that they throw these things around. They give me
Yeah.
heart palpitations, and I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Oh,
I would love it because and we don't have a GM. We're sticking with this kind of weird thing. Elliot Wolf is our like pseudo GM essentially, but his title is like executive personnel of player
Personnel,
or
yeah,
whatever. And so I'd love it, man. I think that'd be
of
perfect.
course,
But
yeah,
yeah,
right.
like you said. But all right, enough of the news talk, boys. Let's get into it. AFC divisional round. We'll start with the AFC and Chiefs Texans. All right, we kind of all knew what was going to happen on this one. We all picked the Chiefs in our pick'ems, and boy, it started well for them. They took the opening kickoff 63 yards, and the Texans got an unsportsmanlike conduct, dude. That I think he made the tackle. He took off his helmet, threw it on the field,
yeah, yeah.
and got an extra 15 yards on that. So you're starting off just giving Patrick Mahomes the what from the I can't remember, it was like the 13 the 15-yard line on the first drive of the game, man. Like you're already shooting yourself in the foot like that. And then I don't know if you guys saw, but that same player, he like full extension
Push,
shoved his
yeah,
special teams coordinator.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I didn't know a whole lot to make of it until afterwards, like the stuff came out about it. But I think I don't know if he really meant to, and then maybe it's just because I haven't really educated myself on the whole situation. But like, I don't know if he actually meant to take off his helmet. It was just more of an excitement thing. I think, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, he's in the moment. He makes a saving tackle pretty much. And then the whole shoving your coach. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if like words were exchanged and he's pissed off and he's like, F this guy, or he's just still hot headed and making that play. And he's like, let's go. But then his coach is like pissed off at him. But realistically, I think that's like you said, shooting yourself in the foot and setting up Mr. Mahomes himself, who has the refs, who has everything behind him to kind of drive down 15 yards and do something.
Yeah, and they were able to stop them to a field goal, which was as good as they could have asked for on that drive. But like you said, great way to segue into this is it's the freaking theme of the game. And I saw this and I feel the same way because I understand as a Patriots fan, for me to be out here and say like, "Wow, dude, refs always giving it to Mahomes." Always,
Uh,
I understand. I understand that. It feels weird to be like saying that because I know that's how everybody felt about the Patriots. Everybody felt about Tom Brady, and I get it for sure. And so it feels weird, but I saw someone tweet this, a Patriots fan too. It's just getting a little out of control, man. It really is. And it's just harder and harder to be like, okay, can't say this. We were, Patriots, 6 Super Bowls. We did that. But I mean, the first one that Patrick Mahomes got in this game, I believe it was Will Anderson. And you could see on the replay, he never hit him in the head. And it was a 3rd and 8. They would have had to punt on this drive and the drive would have been over, but they get obviously. And Clay Martin, I think, was the guy. And a little fact, Clay Martin, whenever he's refed Patrick Mahomes, undefeated. Undefeated. They've never lost with Clay Martin. Quick to draw that
ah,
flag, quick to throw it out to him, man. And yeah, I don't know. Do you guys see the play that I was talking about? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me, or am I being a crazy Patriots hater?
I mean, I just think that I've already said it, man. I just think that the Patrick Mahomes and ref thing a little too script now at this point. It's getting to the point where the guy gets touched. It's gonna be flag football for him. You're gonna have to pull down his flags before you can even like do anything. So I'm not buying it. I think that this is dumb and this is not good for the sport. And it seems to look like they want the Patriot, or not the Patriots. Sorry, the new Patriots. They want the Mr. Mahomes and Chiefs to do a three-peat, but not a roughing the passer, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I had some money on that game too, man. Well, I mean, the Chiefs were at +10, man, and I'm like, no, I thought the Texans could give them a game. I mean, that team's on the come up, man. You can
Yep.
see how they play. They're turning things around. That team's going to be tough for the next few years. No joke. And I think they played the Chiefs very well. Do I think that the refs are in the bag for them? Do I think they're getting instructions from on high? You know what I mean? I'm serious. I mean, think about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, where's it coming from? Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where's it coming from? I've heard, at least, I mean, we can only make assumptions, right?
Right.
Until we know what the hell is going on. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Which we'll never know.
But where there's smoke, there's fire, right? I mean, this is happening all the time. It happened with Tom Brady, I mean,
Yeah.
and you own that, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, Mahomes is also, what I don't like is he's actively looking for this stuff. He
Yes.
is a unbelievably phenomenal athlete with the mental acuity that's off the charts.
Yeah.
I guarantee he thought in his head at a split
Mhm.
second time, if I slide right in front of these guys, right, and give myself up right at their feet.
Yep.
He didn't give himself up in advance. That was literally at their feet,
Yep.
and they went down, and things move so fast. This guy he's working the system. I mean,
Yep.
and so did Jordan, so did Kobe, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the dive out of bounds. I mean, that dive that
Oh
rubs
my
me the wrong
goodness.
way. But Tom Brady would
Yes.
never do that, man.
No.
Never dive. You know what I mean? He wouldn't dive like that. And I am frustrated by it. I mean, you guys both know that Eagles lost the Super Bowl 2 years
Mhm.
ago because of this
Yeah.
BS holding call, and you saw the holding
Yep.
call against
Yep.
Bradbury, and that did not exist. Watch it, roll the tape over and over and over and
Yeah.
over and over and over
Yeah.
and over and over again. Okay, it was a third down. The Chiefs would have had to kick a field goal, right?
Yep.
And then we're still up by 1 point. I'm telling you, man. So I dealt with it firsthand.
Yeah.
And I don't expect it to stop. That's what I would say. People are
Repeat.
sending. People are. I'm sorry to dominate the time. This has got me going
Not at all.
because I think we're going to be playing them in the Super Bowl. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. I'm getting warmed
100%.
up.
100%, man. That 3P, you guys are in the way of the 3P, and I just don't see it. Like, as much as I hate the Eagles, I feel bad for you guys because it's not the Chiefs against the Eagles. It realistically becomes the Chiefs or the Eagles against the system. Like,
Well,
that's
hey,
what
the
it's starting to
Texans
feel
even
like.
talked about that. They said, like, everybody, like Will Anderson came out, said,
Yeah.
we knew we were going to be playing against the refs. D'Amico Ryans, which I don't really like
Yeah.
the head coach doing it, but also he's not lying. We were playing it. It's us versus everybody. And he didn't directly shout out the refs, but we all knew what he meant. And yeah, like you said, and I know you're talking about the dive, Simon. I don't know if you saw the flop as well when it was like 2nd and 8 or something. And he stops inbounds. To wait, and then he leans back to wait for Texans defenders to hit him to try to get the roughing the passer call.
Was that
Thankfully,
the
they
out of
didn't get
bounds
him.
one? Was
What's
that the out
that?
of bounds? Yeah, that was the out
Yeah.
of bounds. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, and I'm that, like you said, Brady would never pull that shit. I've never
Ever.
seen any, but you're right. He is playing the system, and we talked about it when Trevor Lawrence got that really bad head injury,
Yeah.
and it's because like similar thing. I think that it plays a role in it where these quarterbacks are diving so late because they know they can get this call,
Yep.
and
Fall
now
on
it's
their
creating
knees.
actually dangerous plays because Trevor Lawrence obviously got very hurt, and that was a scary situation. But you're using the system. Offensive coordinators know this. Quarterbacks know this. Head coaches know this. And that's what, to your point, exactly saying they're using that. And Mahomes, cream of the crop, it's same thing. Like, we can say all this, but he is very talented. He's got it all up here. He's got
Yep.
it all. He's got all the talent.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's fucking doing, and he's good. And why would he not? Why would he not do it?
Yeah.
I can't blame him there. Why would he not when he knows he can get these calls and he knows how to get these calls?
That guy sees a game. I promise you, that guy sees a game in slow motion. He don't see it like we see it, or almost
Yep.
everybody else sees it. It's a whole different language he's
Next
looking
next
through.
Tom Brady. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's something else, man.
Well, getting back into the game, Kelsey, he came alive, and as he always does around this time, I feel like we've done the same song and dance. Where's Kelsey? Where's Kelsey? Oh, wow, he's getting old. He's getting soft. And then he pops off. I think Mahomes had like 157 yards in this game, and 117 of them were to Kelsey.
Yeah.
He had a big 50-yarder. He had a touchdown, which that touchdown was insane. Falling down, throwing it. I mean, hey, like you said, got to give him credit there where the talent and everything is due. But, the Texans, they made a run in the second half. They got that touchdown off of Joe Mixon. They got that running game. And then Fairbairn misses the PAT. Also missed a field goal in the first half. So it really put them behind because I think that would have made it, I think that kept it a 2-possession game after he missed the PAT. So, not much else to do. I mean, like you said, Stein, the Texans played well. The defense has played well in this game. Chiefs got a great defense. And they were shutting down the Texans for the most part. But Yeah, Chiefs can't blame that defense. They didn't get any ref help, and they did it all on their own. And there you go. Chiefs reached the AFC Championship for the 7th straight year. Only one other team has done it longer. That's New England Patriots, 8 years in a row. So they're creeping right there, man. Death taxes and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to continue to say, but it's Chiefs world, and we're all just living in it. And
So,
whether you're
no, sorry, go
whether
ahead.
I don't know, I was just gonna say whether you're a Patriots fan, Eagles fan, Cowboys fan, doesn't matter. Seems like the whole system is a Chiefs fan, and everybody's willing to go with the Chiefs, and the system is willing to go with the Chiefs. So
Yeah.
realistically, like I said, man, I think that they do go into this Super Bowl, and we'll get to that a little later. But I think they do end up going there, and you're playing against the Eagles, and not looking good for you guys, man. And I feel for you,
Oh,
even
this,
though I
this
hate the
is
Eagles, but
no, I know.
I don't feel for you.
Yeah,
It's
right.
hard.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you, Simon. You said you had money on this game. Did that last second safety that they intentionally took affect you at all?
No, it didn't. I had a parlay and
Oh, okay.
what I had Kelsey for. I had Kelsey for 70. I knew Kelsey was going to have a big game.
Big, yeah.
I had him for 70 yards. I had what was the final score?
It was 23-14, and I think the line was
Yeah.
9.5 or
And
something
9
like
points,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that part got me. But there was one other thing that got me too. Something else got me. I'm trying to think. What else?
maybe Joe Mixon touchdown.
No, I think I had the. I think I had the under on Stroud, and I think he threw. I think he hit the.
He hit 245 in this
Yeah,
game.
he did.
So.
It was a 230. I think it was a 236.
Mm.
And I chose the under. And the last thing I'll say about it is, if I really do think, and I could be wrong, man, I don't need to be dogmatic about all this stuff. But if you took some of them calls away, that would have been a ball game. That's what
Yes.
sucks about that. That would have been a ball
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
And I have actually seen that. Like, some people have created videos on Instagram where they're like, yeah, the Chiefs are what, 15-0 or whatever they were, 14-1. But then you take away all, like, they've recreated every game and what was
Oh
wrong
yeah, the
with
one
it.
score games. Like if
Yeah.
you flip the
calls that they got.
Yeah.
one score games, they'd
Yeah.
be like 7-10 or something like that.
Different season, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All right,
man.
well, let's see who they're facing in the AFC Championship, because this is the game everybody, I think all NFL fans were looking forward to this week, Bills Ravens, and it delivered, man. Unfortunately, Zay Flowers still out for this game. We didn't really have many high hopes for him, but Ravens started out hot. They scored on their first touchdown, or on their first drive, scored a touchdown to Bateman, I think same way they scored their first touchdown in the Steelers game. But Bills were able to answer right back, got a Ray Davis 1-yard touchdown. And then this was the theme of the week too. I actually saw this. I saw this stat. All of the winners of the game were not the leading total yardage getter, I guess. So the losers all outgained them by yards. But the theme was turnovers. So turnovers were going to really affect the Ravens in this game. And Lamar threw a really bad one. I mean, it was a moon ball straight to the Bills defender. There, nobody even close. It looked like year one Lamar. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't thrown that ball in however many years, and the Bills are able to score on the next drive. You know what I mean? And get that momentum. And then again, Lamar. It was a weird thing. He was trying. He said it was a RPO. He was trying to get it down. He knew he couldn't pass it because linemen were downfield, so he didn't want to get that call. Then held it too long. Conditions were terrible. And ball slips out of his hand. Von Miller's old ass tried to take it all the way back to the crib, but he couldn't make it quite there, but get stopped. But they are able to score off a tush push on Josh Allen, and then they get the 21-10 lead at halftime. So it's looking all Bills early, especially off those turnovers, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at it, I think that Lamar definitely lost the MVP race in this matchup. As you like last week, I mentioned how the MVP, I mean, it was really Josh Allen's to lose. But we kind of said, they should determine it because it was already probably decided, but like they should determine it based off of who wins this game. And Lamar did not look like the Lamar that we saw all season long. He looked uncomfortable. I mean, he just did not look like he was playing his game. The King Henry wasn't doing much of his stuff too, and so it just, I think that they just were confused and they weren't ready for the Bills. It just seems like every year they can beat whoever they want, and you play the Bills, and it's like a different story. Lamar, I love that. The thing I love about Lamar, and he did it when he was at Louisville, is he takes ownership. He doesn't blame anybody. He's been doing that all season. He's been doing that his whole career. He's like, this one's on me. Like, I threw an interception
Mhm.
that was stupid. I fumbled the next play. Like, I love that he takes ownership and he's like, this one, like realistically, he doesn't care about the MVPs. He wants a chip for the Ravens and for Baltimore. And it's like, it's not happening this year, but it's Lamar can't keep doing the same thing every year. It's the whole Steelers situation. Like, you go in, make the playoffs, you get the first round or whatever, and then you always exit the second round. Like, it it just kind of becomes a habit and you need to break that habit. And I genuinely feel bad for Lamar because I love Lamar. I've always been a big supporter of him. And then when King Henry went over there in the season they've had, it's just kind of sad to see the way it had to come to an end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the thing though. They still had a chance, and they came back in that second half. It wasn't all like Lamar went 18 of 25, 254 yards. I wouldn't put it all on him. He still made some great plays, both with his legs and his
Yeah.
arm. But then you talk about it like Mark Andrews in the second half. He had that brutal fumble where the ball just got punched right out of his hands, and that changes the game, completely because Bills score again off of that, and it's points off of turnovers. We talk, you hear it all the time. That's what, changes the game. And again, same thing. Like I said, Ravens were outscoring. Their offense was better than the Bills' offense in this game. The Ravens were defense able to hold them a little bit, but those turnovers, short field, they're not able to make up from it. And I wouldn't put this on Lamar. I think that it's going to because he's the face of the franchise, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of things. I would put some, just definitely. He had two turnovers in this game. He had the fumble and he had the bad interception, but he did everything to bring him back. I mean, the Bills in the second half, they only scored 6 points, two field goals, and the Ravens scored 15 points in the second half, brought them all the way back. And like the Bills, they had a chance to score a touchdown. They brought them to third and goal at the 2, but they were able to make a stand, force a field goal by the Bills, make it a 2-possession game. And like you said, Lamar, dude, he does Lamar things. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this play, but he was there for, it felt like 15 seconds. He's running back and forth, but
Yeah.
nobody's touching me. Is all day in the world. Finds Likely in the touchdown. I think it was like a 30-yard touchdown. Bring him within 2-point conversion. Perfect play. I mean, you know how many times they've run this in practice, how many times we've seen them do it in games. I mean, pitch, catch, easy, boom. Let's go to overtime. Mark Andrews drops the ball, and all of Baltimore's
Oh,
hearts, ending the Baltimore season. So, and I like it. Obviously, all his teammates are going to come out. His head coach is going to come out and say, Mark Andrews is the reason we're here, is one of the biggest reasons we're here. It's not his fault and everything.
yeah.
And that's 100% true. You know what I mean? Definitely would have, at least, I think the Bills still had a minute 30 left. All they would have needed was a field goal to win, but you never know. But God, that's got to be heartbreaking, if you're a Ravens fan.
yeah, I wouldn't wanted to be on the other end of that one, man. That was bad stuff. I think the whole. I mean, if I just look back at that game, they couldn't get Henry going. I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah.
so I don't put it on Lamar necessarily. I mean, the turnovers, yeah, those are extremely costly. These things happen. We can point fingers in every direction, but you got to get that. I mean, so much of the offense is predicated on them controlling the ball, controlling the time of possession.
Yep.
Um, and just could not get him going. I thought they were going to get him rolling. He had he had like an 8 yard run up the middle, and then he had like a 10 yard run up the middle. I'm like, oh, here we
Yeah.
go, let's get rolling, and nothing, man. I mean, I had him at the overtime. I think it was I had him like receiving and rushing 100 yards. I was like, oh, this is a no brainer. It was like a
Yeah.
safety. It was a safety bet I was doing just because I was going to lose all my other bets. It was like a safety. He ended up with 80 yards. I mean,
Yep.
that's what are you gonna do, man? You
Yeah,
know?
and there's so much of their game is based off of King Henry doing his thing, right? Like them doing that whole you don't know if Lamar's gonna run
Yeah,
the ball,
The
you don't
RPO.
know if
yeah,
King Henry's gonna be running the ball, and so when you have one shut down, like I'm not putting the blame on Lamar. I just think it's awesome that he's taking accountability and he's the
yeah,
he's the team guy and he's the franchise guy, and so
Yep.
he's like, this one's on me. But I think that realistically, overall, they just had a poor game
Yeah,
offensively,
happens,
where all
man.
the turnovers, yeah, all the turnovers played a
Yeah.
big factor.
And what's
And
crazy is you're still 2-point catch
Yeah,
that Andrews
yeah,
makes that catch
any day of the week.
99
Yeah.
out of 100 times. I
yeah.
feel like he makes that catch, and
I
that
think.
just so happened to be the one time he
Yeah,
drops it.
I think what's getting lost in this though is, I mean, dude, Josh Allen's a freaking stud, man. Dude, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
John will tell you that.
Who's
Yeah.
who's to say the Bills aren't a better team, man? And I'm telling you, the
Yes.
Bills played the Chiefs well. If you don't want the Chiefs to be in this thing, the Bills are the team that can beat the Chiefs.
Mhm.
And I know it, like, maybe it doesn't look that way on paper, but what have they beat? They beat them last two meetings. Did they beat them?
So the thing is, they're undefeated, I think, the last 3 years against the Chiefs in the regular season.
Yeah, yeah.
Playoffs,
Oh,
Well,
the
they can beat
Bills
them
or
though.
the Chiefs
Yeah,
are undefeated against the Bills.
sure. But they can play with them. They really can. And I don't put anything past that game. I'm serious. I do not think the Chiefs are. I have seen a decline in that team over the last probably 4 years, and they are just kind of holding on to this thing right now. That's my
Mhm.
feeling about all
yeah.
this. You mentioned all the games they're winning by one possession or
Yeah.
whatever.
One
Yeah.
call from the
I mean
ref. One. Yeah.
it's close. So do not be surprised if that game kind of shocks us a little
and
bit.
and
I'm
we all
serious,
want the
man.
Bills to win
Yeah,
it, right? Like that's the thing is
yeah,
realistically, we're tired of this whole like system Mahomes and Chiefs crap. So like
yeah.
we're all pulling for Mr. Pretty Boy Josh Allen to do it, and it's like, hey man, it's us against the Chiefs system, the Chiefs kingdom as they call it. And it's always nice to see a kingdom fall, and and them to have to go full rebuild mode, because you realistically think Andrew Reid will probably retire. You have a lot of players that end up you losing in the offseason just because teams have so much cap space. And so I just would love to see, and I know I sound like a hater, and normally it's directed to the Eagles or the 49ers, but I just would love to see that Chiefs kingdom fall. And I think the Bills are the
You
team to
all.
do it, and
Yeah,
they've proven to be against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And
yeah.
yeah.
Well, both, yeah, you guys can speak to that very well. I mean, both of your kingdoms have fallen over the last.
I don't know when I saw my team winning a
Yeah, no,
playoff
they're
team.
bad,
Just
man.
kidding.
They're
I was gonna
bad,
say,
man.
like, back to your Apollo thing, like you're talking about it that last time they were in the NFC Championship. Simon, you were the only one of us three alive when that
Bro, I
happened.
wonder what I know. I wonder what year. I'm wondering what year
It was
that
before.
was.
It was like 90. I want to say they won like 95, 96. So maybe they
96
were
or
in
97.
97, 98. They were in there,
Wow,
something like
my
that. That was before our
God.
time, my friend.
But
Well,
that's when
hey,
I think, like,
how
we
old were
can't
you
keep.
guys with the? How old were you? Sorry, Fuzz. How old were you guys when they got robbed on that Des Bryant against the Packers? Because
Oh yeah, the
that would have
catch.
sent them to
Super
the
Bowl,
NFC
right?
No,
Or
I think
NFC
NFC
Championship.
champions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were like
What
what,
year was
12,
that?
13, I want to say.
yeah,
Maybe
13,
11.
14, maybe,
We
because
were
that
in
was
Yeah,
junior high,
2012.
I think, for sure.
Yeah, I think that
yeah,
Junior
was
high age.
2012. So 2012, 2013. But
yeah.
like you
That was a
look at
catch,
it, and I think
bro.
we keep coming back to this. It's like, hey, leave it alone, man. Leave it alone, man. We keep coming back to this, but it's like I think at that point Jerry Jones cared about the team's success. Like I know we're kind of going back to it, but like that at that point, you have teams like Lamar Jackson, you have the Ravens, you have the Eagles, you have the Bills who care about the team's success. They're the Rams who went all in on that Super Bowl run that year.
Yeah,
And now you have Jerry Jones who just it seemes like he just cares about his billions of dollars that he's
That
collecting,
is
right?
what he
Like he's
cares
getting
about. Yeah.
he's 70
yeah.
freaking 80,
80,
90,
he's
100 years
82.
old.
He's
Like
82. He's
82. So it's
82
like,
years old. Yeah.
bro, and
82
it's just
going on 120, right, Sam?
basically, man.
Yeah,
Basically, man.
right.
Man's just frustrating. He ain't
Keep
there.
living, boy. Keep living, man. Keep living.
He,
Uh, all
he
right,
ain't there.
let's get into the NFC teams that are still
Yeah.
alive in this
Ugh,
game. Let's talk about the Lions Commanders on Saturday night, man. Holy crap.
fireworks.
It was exactly what we expected, man. I mean, we know what the Lions are. We know the Commanders. Jane Daniels, who I've been a big fan of, have an offense as well. It didn't start out like on fire the first couple of drives. Defenses actually got a stop. They were able to put the Lions back in 3rd and long. They get stopped, and then your boy Fies, Marcus Mariota, he made an appearance in this game.
Yeah, he
Not
did.
a good one at all, but he was there. 4th and 1, they tried to fake a QB sneak, pitch it back. I think the Daniels do a little trickery, and the Lions blew it up. But after that, it was all offense, as we expected, man. Lions made it look real easy. They go right down the field. Gibbs gets a touchdown. I wanted to throw this on here because I was thinking about it, and I was trying, and then I went through all the running backs in my head. Obviously, Saquon and Derrick Henry, class of the field. They're 1 and 2. Obviously, you can argue, and Philly Johns are probably going to go Saquon. Derrick Henry, Ravens are going to go Derrick Henry. Is Jahmyr Gibbs the 3rd best running back in the NFL? I think he might be.
Yeah, it might be.
I looked through like all the other. You got Joe Mixon in
Yeah.
the Texans. I put Jahmyr Gibbs over him.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson's a real deal in Atlanta. I still
easy.
put Jahmyr Gibbs. I think we're not. Obviously, we know how awesome he is, but he's the next guy below that tier. You got the king tier with Derrick Henry and Saquon, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the next one, and he's still young.
Yeah, we got a real shortage of really good running backs right now, and I would say you're going to see if he's like if he could be a bell cow because he's not that big, man. You got to be careful with these guys. You know what I mean?
Which is what the Lions get to do because they have David Montgomery, and that keeps them so fresh, right? But you did see without David Montgomery these past few weeks, Jahmyr Gibbs clearly stepped up to the plate, was able to be a bell cow. But like you said, how long? Through a whole season, it's different for sure.
Yeah. It reminds me of like I wouldn't say necessarily Reggie Bush, kind of one of those guys who are on the fringe where you're probably around 205 pounds, maybe 210. I don't know how big he is. You'd have to fact check me on that one. I don't know how big he is, but I mean he's dynamic, man. He's dynamic, and if you can run. If you don't run him up the middle and you can zone block for him and find some holes for him, he won't take most of his hits from these big tackles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like Saquon hasn't taken a ton of hits this year. Our blocking schemes are so good. This guy can run forever, man. He's fresh, man, because you watch his games. Look who he's getting tackled by. And I think Detroit does a lot of zone blocking.
They do.
Got a lot of big wide holes with linebackers. You know what I mean? Have to pick their hole to go in. And I haven't seen him taking a big pop. And I've been watching Detroit. He hadn't taken many hits this year.
Yeah. And you were right on the money. About 200, 205 is what they're listing him on.
Yeah, he ain't that big, man.
Stuff, so, yeah. And then, but the thing is, it wasn't all Detroit, man. They didn't run away with this. They did hold Washington to a field goal. But then on the next the next drive, Jared Goff, he ends up fumbling the ball again. We're talking about these turnovers. This was the first one, and he fumbles it, and then the Commander's able to recover the fumble and go down and drive. And theme of the game for the Commanders: 4th and 2, 4th and 3. They are going for it. Obviously, we knew that, right? These are the two teams. I think that the Troy Lions went for it more, but the Commanders had a better success rate, like insane, like 87% or something on 4th down. Like I think it was an NFL record, the way they were able to go for it. So they got a 4th and 3 inside the 10 to Zach Ertz, former Philadelphia Eagle. I know it might hurt that he's in the division. It's not the Cowboys, Giants, or anything, but you got to like seeing what Zach Ertz is still doing out there.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive, man. I mean, he's still doing it well. I mean, I'd probably a top 10 tight end in the league.
Crazy, and he's been around forever, dude. So that's awesome.
Sure has.
And off of that 4th down conversion, they get a Brian Robinson touchdown off of that. And then we talked about it with the Chiefs. Another falling down insane. This might have been more impressive. Obviously, Jared Goff not as athletic as Patrick Mahomes. He's falling down. Barely gets the ball off to Laporta, who also barely makes a one-handed, left-handed touchdown grab to put them back up. And then before you could go get another beer and take a piss, the Commander scores a 60-yard screenplay touchdown to Scary Terry, who we talked about, Feist, who is back, man. That dude with Jaden Daniels is back, and he might be one of the best like top receivers in the league. Definitely top 10.
Well, what's Jaden Daniels done for him is like incredible. Like he looks like he's comfortable in his route running again. He's explosive because that's kind of the player he was, is that explosive deep run kind of guy, and that's what he's able to do with Jaden Daniels. And I for one was kind of realistically rooting for this guy because he had just a slump in the last couple of years, and then or he went off and then he had a slump and then he kind of had
Mm-hmm.
a mid season, and so it's good to see him back, and I think that just shows the kind of player Jane Daniels is, and he's playing like he's not a rookie quarterback. Like that's the realistic thing is how much his game has improved from day one, and how much he's doing for this team. And there's a reason why they can go for a lot of fourth downs because they also have another mobile quarterback like Marcus Mariota, where they could throw him in and not be afraid to have him get hurt. They don't have to use Jaden Daniels, and then you put both of them on there, and teams are confused because you have two mobile quarterbacks and you have a good young running back who can just run the ball. And so, yeah, they know what they're doing, and they've definitely invested once again. Keyword invested in the team and being able to build a
Got rid of their
successful team.
owner. That definitely revitalized that franchise. They got rid of
Yeah,
their owners. So
Magic Johnson's a big part of it now too, and so how can we get rid of the owner of the Cowboys?
We've
I don't
already got
think
into those plans a little bit too much, Feisty.
yeah.
We can't let. But
LeBron
yeah, no,
James save
I
us.
I know exactly what you're saying, man. And hey, man, this Commanders team was here, and like you said, they were I think they shocked the world with how much, because I think this was the biggest spread of the weekend. It might have been 10, 10 and a half
I think it
for
was
the
around 10.
Lions. Yeah,
Yeah, it was around 10.
and man, they right after we're talking about turnovers, here's another one, Jared Goff. And this was, man, I don't know if you guys remember this play. He threw a pick six into triple coverage. It was zone coverage. And Tom Brady brought it up on the call. And obviously Tom Brady's gonna see it. He's Tom Brady, but you had Sam Laporta check down, wide open. Nobody's on him. You got a 7-8 yard gain right there, guaranteed. Jared Goff throws it into triple coverage, makes a mistake you haven't really seen him make this season. They're able to take it all the way back to the house, get a pick six off of that. And on that, speaking of, if it was Patrick Mahomes, this guy would have been ejected from the game, I'm sure. But Jared Goff got hit right in the head.
Yeah.
They lit him up. Went into the blue tent for a concussion. So next drive, guess who we get to see? Fresh off of winning was it Florida State Championship? Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater made it back onto the field, man. It's kind of cool to see him out there. And you know what he did? Led them to a touchdown drive. He didn't really do much. He it was an end around for Jamison Williams. That guy, holy shit, is fast. I mean, fast. He took an end around, what was it, like 60 yards to the house, and brought them back into 24-21 ball game. Jared Goff's able to come back on the field after that. But then Commanders, same thing. They go down. They get a nudge touchdown drive after that Niami Brown grab, that 40-yard grab with the hand in his face. He couldn't even see. Get a touchdown from your boy Zach Ertz off of that, and that's just how the second half went. There was another pick by Jared Goff. They were almost going to have more points, but then threw a really bad ball, was perfectly read by the cornerback, gets his second interception of the game,
Yeah.
and gets the Commanders to end the half with a 31-21 lead and end that first half with 42 points in the second quarter, which is an NFL record, most points scored. I mean, I'm running out of breath here talking about all this shit that happened just in the second quarter alone, man. This was exciting. If you're a
Yeah.
defensive guy, turn away, because that's not what you want to see in this game.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think and I think the most confusing part is how well Jared Goff has protected the ball this year.
Mm-hmm.
He had the lowest turnovers. He hasn't really had to do a whole lot. He's had the explosive plays, but that's more of his receivers doing that. And so this was a confusing game, not only for me, but a lot of Lions fan. And talk about a team that everybody was cheering for. The Lions was that team. Like everybody wanted their underdog story, them to make it to the Super Bowl, and like just being able to have a successful season for once and cap off what they were able to do last year, and they just once again, man, just a little bit short.
Well, everybody didn't want that, Fice. I certainly
You're
didn't
not an
want.
Eagles fan.
Yeah, right. I certainly didn't want that. And what? Okay, I got a few issues with this game. Number one, that was a legal hit on Goff. Am I correct? It was totally
Yep.
legal, right? He's just a player, right?
Yeah, because he's a whatever at that point, not quarterback.
He needs to get his ass out. He don't need to be anywhere near that. Okay, and he may have been concussed. You don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a rough hit, man. For him to have to come out of there and then come back in, I mean, something definitely wasn't right. And the Lions' magic, the way I see it, the Lions' magic ran out, man. This is not an unstoppable juggernaut of a team. Trust me. Okay, it was not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't have the craziest schedule. They did. But who they play?
Hey, they had a tough division, man. 3 teams made the playoffs in that division.
And we saw what Minnesota ended up being, right?
We saw what Green Bay ended up being, obviously.
Yeah, and we saw the Eagles busted up Green Bay's ass, right?
And so, you want to know something? Want to know a little cool fact? They all tied with the Chicago Bears for playoff wins this season. NFC North, big old goose egg this year. No wins for the NFC North when they get 3 teams in the playoffs. Crazy.
Wow. But I mean, it was a good team, but I was just worried about playing them in the dome. To be honest with you, I wasn't worried whether we could win or lose, or if we were the better team. I really wasn't, and I'm a very skeptical fan. But if you turn the ball over 4 times, fifth turnover was at the end of the game, man. That didn't matter. But you turn the ball over 4 times, you are not winning a football game. It doesn't matter.
Especially when Washington's moving the ball like that. No, and I think 0 turnovers for Washington, and you know what I mean. Like, they made a run. There was a cool play. They had their cool little Ben Johnson trick play in the second half where they did the lateral to Montgomery, who shoveled it to Amon-Ra, led to another Gibbs touchdown, I think, after that drive. But Commanders, they got a 4th and 2 conversion after Jaden Daniels keeps it in the second half. And then they get, I think it was 4th and 2, and it was still a 1-score game. Tom Brady was on the call and just timeout. You got 12 guys, like, with 10 seconds left on the play clock. They get penalized for it, so they get a free. Not only have you not been able to stop these guys on 4th down, I mean, nobody has, but now you gave them a free one with 12 guys on defense, so they score off of that, and then it just becomes, I think it was 45-28 at that point. The Gonzalez did miss a field goal, the kicker for the Commanders, to not make it a 3-score game, but then nothing else could happen, I think, because it was after Jamison Williams. They did that end around trick play where Jamison Williams getting ready to throw a pass. And you know this. I mean, every time that you're in that situation, we've seen that play before. The receiver is told, if he is wide open, throw it to him. If he is not, throw it out of bounds. You know what I mean? Like, no chance. And he throws it into, I think, double coverage and just a terribly underthrown ball. Lions like we said, get upset 45-31 in this game, and the Commanders advance to the NFC Championship for the first time, I think, since 1991. We're talking Joe Gibbs days.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, first time. Now, who will they be facing in the NFC Championship? We've been waiting for this. I know Simon's been waiting for this all episode. Eagles, Rams. In the snow. We knew the snow was coming in this game. It didn't start out as a snow game, but we knew it was coming, so they were prepared. And we started out with your boy. I don't know if you claim him as your boy. I know Philly fans are kind of divisive on this guy, but Jalen Hurts got that read option going, 45-yard scamper for the first.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts takes that 45-yarder to the house, and then Jake Elliott misses the PAT. Now, our boy Shawnee, he's an Eagles fan as well. He's getting about sick of Jake Elliott. Is that kind of the idea in Philly? Everybody kind of done with them, or?
We're worried, man. I mean, that's all it takes to win and lose. We're not a team that's. In a little bit, I'll kind of explain what I think our philosophy is about winning and losing. I mean, this is all this stuff is. what you see out there, I think, is more intentional than you think. You know what I mean? Because Jalen Hurts can throw for 300 yards. He can.
Yeah.
Um, but this is a part of the overall philosophy that they got going on, right now. But we're not gonna blow anybody out. I don't believe that. These are going to be close games, and they're going to probably come down to one score. And we're a bit worried here, man. But I mean, what are you going to do, man? You got an 8-year, 9-year veteran. He's a Pro Bowl kicker.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the yips right now. We know it. Something ain't right. But what do? You change a horse midstream right now and disrupt the culture of the team. I think you got to ride or die. But we're worried.
Yeah,
We're Philly fans, man. We're worried constantly, man.
Gotta believe, but yeah, he's been missing some PATs and some field goals here in key situations. But yeah, Eagles go up 6-0. Rams answer right back, and Sean McVay made a great challenge. It was ruled incomplete. I think, another 3rd and long to Tyler Higbee, ruled incomplete on the field. He definitely did catch it. We saw it on the replay, went under his hands, bounced up, never hit the ground, got the completion. If they didn't get that, then the drive would have been over. They're able to go all the way down the field, get a touchdown on the net on that same drive. And then after that, it was kind of a defensive game. And I wanted to see your opinions because I know he's not probably the least popular person in Philadelphia right now. Jared Verse talking some mad shit this week on Philly fans and how much he hates you guys. And individually, he had himself a game, man. He went off. He had 3 sacks in this game, I think. They weren't able to stop that dude.
No, I think one of the he had a great game. I'll give him his due, but and I like he was talking. I think that whole billboard
narrative
material, the billboard material that used to motivate people. There's so much out there right now. I mean, you got to realize half our team does podcasts. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got Darius Slay does podcasts. So man, all power to him. He looked like he was having a good time. Nothing was said, maliciously. He brought it. I
think the thing is too. They asked him, "What do you think of Philly fans?" What's he going to say? Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're the greatest people in the world. Love me.
What are you going to do?
You know what I mean?
Or are you going to be political? Or are you going to be like, look, it's a great sports city. We look forward to playing them. But who wants to do that, man?
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't sell anything. Well, he was tracking down the quarterback. He couldn't track down Saquon Barkley, who my God, I mean, it's easier said than done, especially from the couch here on your favorite couch potatoes, but fucking hell, this guy getting these 60-yard touchdowns.
Yeah,
he got his 3rd in this game in the first half. Got his 3rd rushing touchdown just on the Rams of 60+ yards, dude. Yeah. Dude's a dog. And like you said, like you were talking about when we were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, those holes that open up, that blocking scheme. He wasn't touched. I mean, when he hits that and he makes that one cut, gone.
Yeah, we pull. If you watch the film on the Eagles, man, these guys are so athletic and so talented. They're not just big, and every one of them. But everyone but your left tackle, and your right guard. They're not as mobile. But Mailata and Cameron, the center. Can move, man. And these blocking schemes, they're pulling guards. They're pulling. If you go ahead and watch
Mailata, they pulled Mailata on a few.
Did you see that one?
These drives,
he went on Saquon's first touchdown run. He pulled all the way from the left side, all the way around, got to the second level before Quan was even close to being there. He's extremely fast, good feet.
Well, and who's your right guard too? Because he used to play right tackle, I think, for the last team he was at.
Yeah, it's
77.
No, 70. Yeah, 70. It's Fred. God, I'm sorry, man.
I'm blanking on his name too. Yeah,
he was a project this year, and he's about to get paid, dude. He's going to get paid big.
That's not easy to do, man. Switch from guard tackle. That is not an easy thing.
And he can play both. The dude's going to get paid. We'll see if that's where we want to invest our money. We've got to sign our linebacker. We got work to do.
Well, we talked about this earlier too. Like when we were saying you gotta have an O line to do anything. Those O-line have to be willing to move mountains
Yeah,
for you, right? It's no longer just having big guys do pass protection.
yeah,
It's now you have so many trick plays, you have so many, and it's all about the run game. If your run game is not going, you're just offense is slow. We saw that with the Ravens,
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
with King Henry and stuff. And so you have freaking Barkley, who was a gift from the Giants, the biggest, dumbest
yeah.
franchise you've ever seen.
Sure.
And look what he's able to do with the good O line, because Giants have never had a good O line. Even when Eli Manning played there, it's been trash. And now you
Yeah,
have a good offensive line that's been able and been
yeah,
proven. They created a tush push for a reason. Like, you just they work so well together, and that's what you really need, is a team that can have an old line to, they say the quarterback is the most important position in a team, but I mean, you're starting to look at these old line teams, and when, like, the
yeah,
Cowboys, the Patriots, the Eagles, whoever you want to call it, when they have a good freaking O line and you have a
yeah,
good running game, your team's going to be very successful.
yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
showing right here with the
Oh
Eagles
yeah.
and what they're able to do with Barkley and the season he's having. It's the
Yeah,
same thing with Zeke Elliott when he was his second year or first year in the NFL, and we had that crazy old line, and everybody was questioning, is it Zeke or is it the old line? And I kind of
Right.
put it 50-50, because you kind of have to, Zeke has to be the one to read those
yeah,
holes, but the online has to create that. And when you have a good online, man, it makes a huge difference in your offense and what
yeah,
you're able to do.
So
yeah.
yeah,
So
and when you
It
put a guy
absolutely
like
does.
Saquon back there, I mean, it's just going to unlock everything. I mean, I know
Ridiculous.
he's probably one of the more expensive running back contracts, but I saw something that his contract is like the 113th or
Yeah.
something like that, most expensive contract in all of the
yeah,
NFL.
Well,
You're
with that,
telling me he's the 113th most value? No, of course not. Fucking pay him. Like, pay him whatever
yeah,
you want. The fact that he wanted to go back to New York and New York laughed at him, that's why they're the
yeah,
Giants, man. So fuck,
yeah,
it worked out for the Eagles, and
yeah,
yeah, they were able to dominate the first half and not run away with it, I'll say, but like had control of it. And then the elements they did start to come in. We saw that Jalen almost turned the ball over. It slipped right out of
yeah,
his hands. I think it was Gainwell that jumped right on it after that. And then I reverse. I'm talking about him. He got his third sack of the game to end the half, so kind of brought them out of field goal range. They almost had a field goal there, but then in the second half, Rams are able to get a field goal, tie it up. And then Mr. Jake Elliott hits a 44-yarder in the snow. Not an easy kick. Not a 44 yarders are gimmies for kickers these days, but not in those elements. So that was an impressive kick. And then because I think I can't remember when it was in that third quarter, but Jalen Hurts goes down with that knee injury. We saw him limping off a little bit, and
yeah.
it
It's not
definitely
good.
affected him because, yeah, you guys got that safety on the next
Yeah.
drive, and you think Hurts can avoid that safety and be a little bit, mobile to get out of that, but he didn't look too good after that.
Well, that was a ridiculous play. The freaking media around here is blowing up about that play. That was play calling, and there was no audible. Jalen got the play. He got the call from the sideline. They're on the 3 yard line, and he goes into a 5 step drop. First of all, his knee is already hurt, and they know that. Yeah, what are you doing a 5 step drop for when you're on the 3 yard line, man?
yeah,
Because you got to get the ball out quick.
done that.
3 step drop, throw the ball. If you're
Yeah,
going to throw the ball, 5 step drop, waiting for routes to develop in the snow and all this stuff that was a horrific play call. And we got exposed a little bit. Higbee's a pretty good tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we're missing N'Kobe Dean. He went out last week with a season ender. Georgia third round pick. He's a really good player.
Yeah,
And hopefully he's back for us next year. He wore the green dot. He was a play caller. I mean, Zach Bond's next level. If we can keep him, we'll see. We don't invest money in linebackers. We never have. We invest in the trenches. That's what we do. We don't pay linebackers. So we'll see what we're going to do. But I think a lot of the ball movement was because we were missing that linebacker because he used Higbee as an escape outlet quite.
he
Higbee
did.
probably had 6 or 7 catches.
Yeah, he had the
And
touchdown early
yeah,
on, and
and
that first down that we were talking about that was
yeah,
overturned.
and
Yeah.
Oren Burks, who took over for him, he's a 6 year pro. He's been I mean, he's played in 70, 80 games or something like that. He can play, but he's a tackler. He's more of an older traditional linebacker
Run stopper.
that you used to
Yeah,
have.
not a coverage
Those,
guy.
yeah, I mean, those are, you brought up the point. I mean, these running backs are about, the game's about to take another shift.
It
and
is.
and it's running backs are gonna start to get paid again, because if the league starts running again, you got these small ass linebackers now that are there to always pass. They're not gonna be able to tackle this guy. They're not gonna be able to tackle Henry. It just ain't happening.
100%.
Yeah.
And speaking of running backs, after that safety, Kyron Williams ends up fumbling ball. We see that, and it was another, elements thing. That ball was just popping out of people's hands, and Eagles able to recover it, take it back to like inside the 10. And it was 4th and 1, tush push territory. Haven't seen this from Philly, but false start on the tush push and 4th and 1 gets
Lane
them
Johnson.
to
Lane Johnson.
crazy. How does that happen?
Well, they said, I read all this stuff, but they said that the whole line for the Rams simulated the snap call, and they all had it planned, and they all called hike at the same time, the whole front. And you're not supposed to simulate a snap. That's not legal. You're not allowed to bark a simulated snap like that. I mean, but what are you going to do? I mean, you're not going to call that shit. Nobody does it.
Right.
And that's what they said. That's why they said he jumped on that. But I thought that was interesting.
It definitely was. You haven't seen that much. I mean, it's
I
the
never
most
seen that
successful
Lane
play.
Johnson.
You know what I mean? So they get the false start, have to kick a field goal on that. And then we go back for it. They're able to stop the Rams. And then Eagles get it back, go for it on 4th and 4. A.J. Brown got a snag, one of his few kind of plays in this game. I know he hasn't been, ever since he's been reading books on the sideline, man. Hasn't been catching too many passes.
Crazy, huh?
Hey, if you're sick of him, I get it. Philly Johns, they're very impatient. He played for a guy, this Mike Vrabel guy. If you want to trade him, give us we'll give you a 3rd, 4th rounder or something like that, and
we don't
go
use
play
him
for his
enough.
old coach.
We don't use them enough anyway.
Drake May could use him.
Which is the craziest thing, man. You look at AJ Brown and what he's been able to do, and like at the beginning of the season, it was like AJ Brown, Hurts, just insane connection, right? And now it's like towards the end of the season and this playoff run, the guy is non-existent, and you would think that that's your guy because Devontae Smith. Yeah, Devontae Smith. He's just a small guy, deep running route guy, and it's like you thought AJ Brown coming in that he would take more of the targets and everything, and it hasn't been that way. It really hasn't, and it's confusing to me because of the talent that AJ Brown is, and I don't know if it's Nick Sirianni or whatever that is just and Kalen Moore that's just not calling the plays for him, but it is so confusing to see that you have a talented player like AJ Brown who can do anything of any of the top receivers.
Yeah, he's a top 5 receiver. We would agree with that, right? It's AJ Brown, right? He's a top 5 receiver.
Just not working hard, work ethic.
Top 10.
Top 10. Not top 5.
You put him
Jamar
in a different,
Chase, Justin Jefferson.
What does he do in a different system?
I mean, we haven't seen that though. He's basically been in kind of the same system. He was basically the same guy in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. He was the same kind of guy, off of play action, deep ball, big play. But other than that, what do you get from him?
He had 80 catches.
I love AJ Brown. I'm not trying to talk shit.
His first year with us, he had 80 catches and he had like 12 touchdowns, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The guy he's a really good player. He is nursing a knee right now. He has got a knee problem right now. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I believe what you're seeing is a deliberate calculation that they've made. It was like week 4 of the season. Yeah. We went into the bye, and people were calling like this media market brutal here, man. People were all over Jalen, this and that. I mean,
you guys were 2-2 at the bye or something, right?
Yeah. Our season was kind of on the edge, and so what happened is they stopped. They closed down the passing game. The linemen they literally came to Nick Sirianni and they said, "We got to start running the ball. We got Saquon Barkley. We got to start running the ball." So they started running the ball. They are playing extremely conservative ball. You talked about turnovers, and that's what all these teams are losing because of turnovers. We are not going to turn the ball over. Jalen is extremely. He does not take any risks out there unless he absolutely needs to.
It's almost like a college offense, right? Like what's in front of you, that if it's not there, throw it away. We'll give it to Saquon next play or whatever.
And and listen, he's a second round draft pick for a reason, right? He does not have first round draft pick intangibles. They didn't think that he did.
Yeah.
He is solid. He is steady. He can run the football. He has his limitations. If they opened up the offense, he could be an average passer of the football. He wouldn't throw for 140 yards a game like he is now. This is a deliberate calculation with what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Now, if they get behind, let's say they get behind to the Commanders, could happen. I'm not ignorant enough to think that it wouldn't. We'll have to see if he'll have to throw the ball, right? We have not been in that position all year, man. Year.
No. Speaking of it, Seim, you're talking about, I'm looking at the stats here. He threw 75% completion percentage, 15 for 20, but he threw for 128 yards, 128 yards.
In that weather.
But, you look on the other side, Matthew Stafford, 26 of 44, so you're talking just above 50%, right? 324 yards. Completely different game, 100%. Right? Completely different game. And now, obviously, the Eagles had the lead the whole time. Like you said, you're not playing from behind all this time. You very deliberate. You're playing a very specific game. You have Saquon motherfucking Barkley back there.
What's the
for
time
a reason. And speaking of, after a Matthew Stafford fumble, Saquon did exactly. And I was talking in the boys group chat, man. I was like, Saquon's going to do it again. After he did the first one, I was like, watch Saquon do it again, but this time in the snow. And that's exactly what he did. Instead of 60 yards, 80 yards. Same fucking thing. Dude, when you're hitting your helmet 20 yards out and nobody's around you, right? That's the biggest I'm him moment I've seen live in recent memory. Dude hit. So now he's got 205 rushing yards, two touchdowns. Right? He added 27 yards passing. I saw this stat. His stats against the Rams this year are he's got 564 total yards, 5 touchdowns. Dude's owned them, and so have you. And Jake Elliott missed the extra point again after that, and it wasn't. You thought that was game, right? You thought that was game.
Yeah, I did.
Game over. 4 minutes left. Game over. Rams came back, man. They were down 13, 4 minutes left. Again, 13 points with 4 minutes left. You miss that extra point. Huge. And again, you go back. If he makes both of those extra points, that's a 3-possession game, or they have to go for a 2-point conversion. Obviously, changes everything. But Rams drove it right down the field. Puka Nacua. Dude's a dog. He showed that. He made some incredible catches. Now, Darius Slay, they were in a battle. That was a cool, I won a couple of plays here. Darius Slay, big play Slay, he won a couple of plays too. He made some big stops. Rams able to get a touchdown on that drive, and then stop the Eagles on the next drive. So, boom, we're talking about it's a 6-point game. Rams are coming back. And then they're going kind of right down the field. Big play Slay. He makes a stop. Big, good play on 2nd and 11 or something like that. Then the Rams get the first down after that. Into field goal range.
They got the first down on that pass to Puka Nacua on the side. That was an unbelievable pass and catch. My God.
He is unreal,
dude. I'm not lying. I'll admit it to you guys. You're right. I'm honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to lose.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to lose.
Yeah.
Especially when Matthew Stafford's dealing like that in the snow. I mean, it looked like
he had 1 minute and 15 seconds, and he's on a 15-yard line.
And he's a clutch player.
That's what I'm
clutch
saying, man.
Quarterback.
Yeah. But your Eagles defense, man, they
Tell
did.
Me what happened? Because this is what I want to talk about. What
they made the stop when they needed to. Bend, don't break. 4th and 11.
Who made the sack?
Who made the sack? I thought it was a fourth.
Jalen Carter came up the middle.
Oh,
He
yes,
made
yes,
the
yes,
sack,
yes.
and then on the very next play, he
Big
had his
plays.
hands up. No. Jalen Carter came up the middle again, had his hands up, and then Stafford sailed the ball
Ah,
over to that corner
you're right.
pylon over
Yes, yep.
there.
And
D-
4th and 11, no chance.
Dude,
That play had no
he
chance.
Jalen Carter is a problem, dude. He is a problem, and your boy, your Cowboy hybrid linebacker guy, whatever his name
Micah
is.
Parsons.
Yeah,
Micah
he
Parsons.
went he he went off the next day after the draft. Did you ever see that clip where he couldn't believe that the Eagles got Jalen Carter? He
Yeah,
couldn't
because he
believe it.
wasn't he like going to be the number one pick, but then he
Yeah,
had that whatever
yeah.
Oh yeah,
shit
yeah, yeah, yeah.
happened, and
He was
I think
you
street
guys
something
got
happened
him
racing.
in
off
like
season.
13 or something.
He's a big kid. He was street racing, and somebody got killed. He was not in the car
Yep, yep, yep,
or
yep, yep,
whatever. The Bears passed on him twice. They had two
yep,
picks to get him,
yep,
and
yep. I do remember that.
this guy is a problem.
Yep, freakish
Um,
athlete.
oh my God! Like so, we play. So I'm not so we play tons of nickel and dime, right? Which means we play four-man fronts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Right.
problem, and that's our pass defense. We have a great secondary, so we play, and this is a Fangio style defense, right? It's like a four-man front, and then in dime you got one linebacker, in nickel you got your two backers, right? And then you have your nickelback who is like Cooper DeJean, and you know who he is from Iowa, right?
Dog.
He's great, dude. He's a freaking unbelievable athlete. You ever see him play basketball? This dude's a freak, man.
Hey, first white cornerback in
That's why he
20
wasn't
something
drafted
years.
high as a
Let's
white
go.
corner. I mean, it
Let's
is what
go.
it is. But he's great, man. But the problem is when you play those nickel dime packages, they're gonna block with five
Right.
because they usually play empty set. Or they block with four and they chip with the running back. Jalen Carter is double teamed on 75% of all plays. This is his value. He's double. If they could ever get him on the nose, man, right in front of the center somehow, he's going to beat him. I mean, when this guy is singled up, it ain't sexy because he's rushing from the middle, collapsing the pocket, but this guy
Dude.
is a problem. You
Oh yeah.
watch, man.
I watched Vince Wilfork do a lot of similar things for a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
years, but you're talking about a guy that's you feel like it has as big of a presence, but way more athletic than Vince Wilfork. Vince Wilfork
Unbelievably
was
athletic.
big boy, gonna fucking
Yeah.
destroy some shit. He's
Yeah.
gonna go through. He's taking the double, triple teams like you're saying,
Yeah.
but Jalen Carter very athletic. I don't know how the hell you got, and that's after you got what's his face the year before,
Jordan
defensive
Davis, yeah.
tackle Jordan Davis.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jordan Davis.
holy hell, like.
Oh, I mean, we started finally drafting out of the SEC, and it all turned
Trenches,
around for
man.
us.
Trenches.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you said,
unbelievable.
both O-line, D-line. O-line,
Dude,
D-line. So
he hit on this last draft.
I
He hit
mean,
on everything. We haven't missed it 2 drafts. We're
well,
building this stockpile. It's ridiculous.
it's not even just drafts, man. The thing that I love and hate about the Eagles is they're not willing to go. They're not afraid. Not willing. Sorry, they're not afraid to go in the off season. Like
Yeah,
you had a lot of players that were available on the defensive end, on offense. It didn't matter. There was a lot of players available, and the Eagles are like, here we go again. I'm telling you, man.
yeah,
It's the owner investing in your team and
yeah,
understanding the now need, forget about the future, forget about your selfish
yeah,
needs of being a billionaire and
yeah,
just doing what you need to do to make sure you get rings, man. It just feels like Jerry
yeah,
Jones has done that and he's kind of like AWOL, but you
yeah,
have great owners like the Eagles, you have players that are available in the
yeah,
offseason, and this is where the Patriots are going to be tested this offseason because they have the most cap, right? And there's a lot of
yeah,
players that are going to be available. What
yeah,
does they do with that? And I feel like
right,
Robert Kraft is a great owner and he's done that. And this is a great example of
yeah,
just not only building in the draft because the Cowboys have done that, but the
yeah,
thing that they're so afraid is spending money because you get so tied down to one or two player and you
yeah.
hope that you
Well, that's
can
the
make
thing.
a
Your
difference.
cap is completely with, Dak
We
Prescott
got
and CeeDee Lamb, which
yeah.
good players and everything, but now you're
I think
married into the
we
situation.
still have $35 million. They say when Howie Roseman calls you, all the other GMs are like, "What the fuck? I'm about to
Yeah.
get fleeced,
Bitch.
man. I'm about to get fleeced."
Hey, man.
Um,
Hopefully your
yeah.
ownership changes real quick because like I said,
One more thing that I think is important, and not about this game, but Jalen Hurts did hurt his knee.
He
If
did.
if his
Yes.
mobility is affected, that's
Obviously, he's going to play, right? He's going to
of
play
course he
next week.
will. He had a
It's
very
the
light
NFC
brace on, but
Championship. Yeah.
I don't know. And then Quinyon Mitchell, our superstar
Yeah, I did see
cornerback,
that.
he's got a shoulder issue. Now, Washington, they just lost their All-Pro, tackle,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ACL, and so that's their second one that's gone down in 2 weeks. Now, what I'm telling you is if they look, man, that often knows in these positions that like what's Aaron Donald played. Aaron Donald, the best defender in the last 25 years, man. I promise you, he wrecked games.
Right.
If you collapse the pocket from the center, man, that quarterback has nowhere to go, right?
Yep.
And if Jalen Carter, I watch every Eagles game. If I see Jalen Carter getting a push up the center, I know it's going to be a tough day for anybody because
Yeah.
the quarterback has nowhere to go. So they run right and they run into an end. They run left, they run into an end. There's no room to step up in the pocket. That's what I'll be watching for on Sunday.
Well,
That's
Is
a
to
great
push up the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
and
are
I
you
was
gonna
gonna
say, Fez?
say it really comes down to the team who can put the best game together offensively and defensively because they both have great quarterbacks. I know Jalen Hurts is hurt, right? But like
Yeah,
realistically, I think you still got everything you in your weapons on offense to make a game out of it. And I think it's gonna be one of those games. I know the Eagles took the games that they played against the Commanders, but like I think the Commanders have a fire underneath them and like lit under
yeah,
them, and they're ready to fight for this.
you bet.
They know they're here. They know what to do. They know
Yeah,
what the game plan is, but it's gonna be which team executes at
yeah,
every
yeah.
single level. You can't have Jake Elliott missing these
No,
1 yard like as extra points because the Commanders will take over on that, and so I'm excited for this game. I
yeah,
think either way, I think me, I'm rooting against you guys,
yeah,
but
you're,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
either
yeah, yeah.
way, who ends up winning this game, it just shows how much the NFC East has grown between not the Cowboys, the Commanders
Yeah,
and
definitely not the Cowboys. No.
the
Yeah, yeah,
Eagles because the Giants and the Cowboys are just stuck, man. They don't
yeah.
know
Hot
what they're
garbage.
doing.
Yeah,
They don't know anything about winning mentality. And these
yeah,
two teams, with the
yeah,
young quarterbacks that they have shown that they're about
yeah.
winning and they're about winning right now.
Talk about a
I,
quick build around, Sam. I know, and I'm not expecting it for the Patriots, but that's what the Commanders did. Number 2 pick in the draft last year.
I,
Number
dude,
2.
they're
And look what
playing.
they've done. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
bro.
But the thing is, Jane Daniels, the, the Bears fucked up, and we've been talking about this with Caleb Williams and all that bullshit. But I knew Jaden Daniels. If you've been watching this podcast since the beginning, like
Yeah,
I wanted Jaden Daniels. I wanted Jaden Daniels since before he was even going to be a
yeah,
top pick. I thought he might be a second round pick. They were talking about him, and I was like, maybe if the Pats can go, who was it? Marvin Harrison, I think, was top pick in the last
Yeah.
year's draft. Go Marvin Harrison at 3, take Jaden Daniels in the second round. I promise you. And
yeah, yeah.
if we could have got that, but anyways, Jaden Daniels, he's a guy. He's 100% a guy, and that's the thing. You talked about rushing him up the middle, though. They move so quick. They do that pseudo kind of hurry up offense.
Yeah.
I think that's going to help counteract what you're saying. You're worried about that, and I think he's going to be able to get outside. A lot of their plays are designed for him to throw on the run, him to take the ball. So let's get into it, boys. And I know. Let's start off with Seim because I know who he's going to pick. But let's get into our championship picks. All right, NFC Championship, Eagles, Commanders. If you want to give a score, you can. If not, whatever. How's this game going to go? Who you taking, Mr. Philly Jawn, Bird Fan 98?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm taking the Eagles. They are the better team. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. As a matter of fact, our odds to win the Super Bowl are 175 right now. We are the top. We're
Super Bowl
favored.
fans?
We are favored to win the Super Bowl right now.
Oh, so you're minus
Go ahead, look
175?
up No, it's plus 170, plus 175.
Okay, so
Yeah,
okay,
plus 175.
but still the favorite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's yeah. Look, I mean, you guys
I'll
have
look it
better
up. Yeah,
access.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want this game to be high scoring. We can't predict the turnovers. We'll manage if we can manage the game, and Saquon runs for 120 yards. Jalen takes
plus
care of the
175.
football. It is, right? I told
Yep.
you. If Jalen takes care of the ball and is healthy and he can run, I can see 20, 27, 20.
27-20 for
It's
Seim.
going to be a one-score game. It's going to be a
Yeah.
one-score game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to predict with turnovers and all this stuff that's happening everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could become a 40-point game if the Eagles turn the ball over 5 times.
Yeah.
You just saw what happened. Don't get too hype on these Commanders, dude. They turned the ball over 5 times, the Lions.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And we're still almost in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
You
had
know?
a chance. Feist,
Yeah.
another surprising pick. Maybe. Where are you going on this one?
As much as I would
Oh,
love
you're
to
gonna let
say,
Seim do it to you. You're gonna let Seim do it to you. You can't switch up now, bud.
as
You
much as I would
gotta.
love to say,
Come
fly
on, still.
Eagles
No,
fly.
stop.
Never, ever say fly Eagles fly. I'm still taking the Commanders. I'm still losing points. And it just comes down to me believing in Jaden Daniels and what they're able to do on that offense. If the Eagles can stand them up and get them 3 and out, and just make it a field goal game for the Commanders, it's going to be a big game, right? Like, it's going to be a difference, but I just don't think that you can do that. The Commanders have such a firepower offense, and it's gonna come down to what, like you were saying about Carter being able to disrupt that whole all line. And if you can do that and get Jaden Daniels uncomfortable to make him look like the rookie quarterback he should be, it's gonna be an Eagles game.
Nobody's
But
done it yet.
I just don't see it, and I think that's what's going to be the difference maker. Is the Commanders have the running game just like the Eagles. They have the receiving game, who's actually really connecting, unlike AJ Brown being absent and stuff. And then they also have the good defense. So for me, it just sounds like the Commanders have the complete game on paper, on stats. The Eagles have them. But I think this is the Commanders' year. They're all in for it. It's a Rams thing where they're all in. They all believe in it. And how amazing would it be to see a rookie quarterback doing what he's doing, man? Like, if he could just be in the MVP race too and win Rookie of the Year, MVP, and a Super Bowl, I'm dreaming. But it's
He's a
just,
dog,
I
man.
just don't see it, man. And I think Commanders take this one. And like Simon said, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. And it's probably going to be 21-28 kind of score game for me. And I think the Commanders take it. But as Mother Nature and everything else has proven me wrong, it seems like anything I pick against the Eagles goes against me. So
It's the
I'll
wrong
be
year
waiting, Susan. I'll be waiting for that text.
it's the wrong year to be doing this, bro. It's the wrong year to be betting against my birds. Go ahead, Kyle.
Dude,
I gotta
it's
hear
a
it.
The whole reason Seim came on, man, he's about sick of Feist picking against the Eagles all postseason. But what are you gonna do, man?
I watched you.
What are you gonna do? You can't pick your division rival. You can't pick your most hated. That's why I picked the fucking Broncos against the Bills. I knew the fucking Bills were going to destroy them, as did everybody. But fuck the Bills, as you would say. Fuck the birds, right? But I'm torn on this one because I love Jaden Daniels, and I've been the one on this podcast, and I think more earlier than most that I believed in this guy, at least who wasn't a LSU Tiger or whoever.
Yeah.
I believed in Jaden Daniels, and that dude is different.
Do it. Pick against us. Go ahead. I hear this.
I believed in him, and I wanted him to be a New England Patriot. I wanted him to do that. At the same time, I've been harping, especially for my New England Patriots, that we have to build on the run game. We have to build the offensive line. You have to build the defensive line. The Commanders have a good offensive line. The Commanders have a good defensive line. The Eagles have a great offensive line and a great defensive line. Give me the Eagles in this one. It will be close. It will be low scoring, 23-20 Eagles.
Oh, all right. What I was 27-20?
27-20. I'll take 23-20 Eagles.
The line is I'm looking at the line. It's Eagles minus 5.5. So,
Oh, okay. All right.
so I mean,
So give me the Commanders
it's
covered.
a
It's a
one
one
score
score.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a one score
100%.
game.
All right, let's go to a less emotionally invested, at least for you guys, because you guys are on the NFC side. But let's go to the AFC Championship. All right, we'll start with Simon again. You got Chiefs, you got Bills. You've been talking about it, but this is the year for the Bills. Are you sticking with them? Or are
Wow.
they going to win this game?
Yeah, I always ask myself like if I were to like let's say it's so easy to pick people and stuff, but let's say I was really wagering something on this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
it really mattered. There
Mm-hmm.
is no way I'm picking against the Chiefs. There is no
Mm-hmm.
way. That would be a suicide mission.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide mission. I can't. I want to be like I want to go against that, but I can't. I'm picking the Chiefs. They're going to get it done. No, I mean, the Spags defense is tough, man. They'll probably hold Josh Allen to, I'm going to go
Take the under on his passing yards, it
20,
sounds
24 21.
24-21 Chiefs.
24 21.
There you go. Feisty,
Yeah.
how do you think this one's going to shake out?
Yeah, I'm against the system, man. As they always said, F the system. I'm not falling for it. I'm going for the Bills. I'm going for Mr. Pretty Boy, Mr. Disney princess, freaking lover, whatever. But
Screw that guy.
I'm all full. I'm all full in on the Bills. I want them to do what's impossible to do, and I'm going with the Chiefs. And I think this is going to be probably a higher scoring game. So I'm going 31-28 actually for the Bills. So
Okay,
we'll have to see what ends up
31-28
happening.
Bills. You said you were going Chiefs, so I didn't know. You're throwing us for a little whirlwind
Nope,
here.
nope, no Chiefs here, man.
Confirming the Bills,
Nope, no
31-28.
Chiefs here.
Kyle, what do you think the line is?
And it's in Kansas City. Is it
Yeah.
a minus one Kansas City?
Minus 1.5 Kansas City. Yeah.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's
Wow.
quite up.
It's toss up.
It is, man.
Yeah. Boy, you're putting me in quite the perdinky dink here.
Yep.
I fucking hate the Chiefs and I fucking hate the Bills so much.
Your hate don't matter. It won't change the score, man.
It won't change the
Y'all's
score.
hate
That's
will
good.
not change the
That's a
score.
great point. Josh Allen is a dog, and the Bills' offense has been, head over heels better than the Chiefs. They're the only real win against the Chiefs this year is the Bills. Obviously, the Broncos beat them when they didn't play their starters, but it's in Kansas City. That's a difference maker. It's in the postseason. That's a difference maker. I've watched it literally growing up. My entire life, I watched Tom Brady and I watched Bill Belichick win games when they shouldn't, win games when they had the less talented team.
Odds.
And I've been picking against them all year. I spent the entire offseason talking about how, dude, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Andy Reid, it's Travis Kelce. You got the best tight end, the best quarterback, best head coach. And then I picked against them in week 1 when they played the Ravens. I picked the Ravens. What happened? Chiefs win. Picked against them. I'm not going to do it again. Although I hope I'm wrong because I do not want them to have the three-peat. But it's the same thing as New England, man. Until you beat Big Brother, Big Brother's always going to win. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. I'm going to take them 2017. It's going to be a close game. It's going to have to be low scoring for the Chiefs to win. Chiefs defense is there. I'm going to take the Chiefs 20-17 in this one.
You know what's crazy is like with your pick and my pick, Kyle. It's like we really think Josh Allen's not going to light it up, and that's crazy. Isn't it hard to not do that? You know what I mean? It's so hard not to do that because you just held him to
17, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, to 2 touchdowns, man, and only getting into field goal range once. And I don't blame you. I'm telling you, man.
Turnovers, that you never know what's going to happen, and obviously we talked about it. The refs obviously going to be on their side. We know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do hate to like say that. It's not even a joke. Like you guys didn't even just laugh right there. Like you guys were just like, yeah,
I know.
they're going to be on their side, and that's a fucking sad thing. And I don't know. I'm obviously, like I said, I'm in the wrong position to be like, refs are on their side. I'm a Patriots fan, and that's how it was. But I feel like this is just different.
He's getting a star
for
treatment.
the point that you made. Tom Brady never tried to go out and did it. Did he complain if he didn't? Did he yell at the refs? Yeah. But did he go out and try to flop for some
No,
calls,
never.
LeBron style? Never.
Yeah, never.
True. No, it is true. There is the thing of like getting the LeBron treatment. A lot of people always talk about that in the NBA. LeBron always gets the call. LeBron always gets the whatever.
Yep,
And I
yep,
just feel like it's the same thing with Mahomes and the Chiefs. They get the call, and that's why I'm like, nope, F the system. And I'm hoping the Bills can
Hey,
finally break
I
that
hope
curse, man.
this is sad, but I do hope the Bills win. Just because the Patriots never were able to get a three-peat, and if the Chiefs do it, looking a
yeah,
little tough for our legacy and everything like that. But I have said it before that Patrick Mahomes is that one guy that can usurp Tom Brady as the GOAT. He
Yeah.
still has the ability to go out there and do it. What's he got? 3 Super Bowls already? You're telling me he can't win 4 more in
yeah.
15 years? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Bills here.
Ugh. Threw
Sorry,
up in his mouth on
sorry.
that one. He
That
don't
was
like the
that was that
Bills.
was
Was that
tough to say.
real? Was that
That
real?
pretty close.
Yeah.
But man, I'm rooting for the Bills. That's why I was rooting heavy for the Ravens to win this last game, so that I would have an obvious choice. But either way, it's going to be a great championship weekend. Cannot wait to see how it shakes up, and if we get, I don't know, see if we get signed back down here or not. If the Eagles
We
lose,
win.
we might
Oh,
not
yeah,
ever.
if we win, I'm coming back.
I'm
We
here.
win.
I'm here. He says, "Hey, you'll be getting a text. Don't worry."
I'm
I'm
sure I will.
so glad to have you on, man. Thank you
Of
for
course.
joining us, and thank
It's
you all
great.
for joining us. Make sure to check out the episodes dropping every Thursday on YouTube and Spotify. Like all the clips on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. TikTok's back. We were
It
only
is
gone for
back.
like 12 hours, so.
Trump saved it, baby.
Thank you. Hey,
Yeah, he
well,
did
hey, he
something good.
saved it. What? Wow,
Yeah,
that was crazy.
yeah,
But
I know,
make
right?
sure to love up your favorite couch potatoes on TikTok. That's what matters. That's what really matters. So until then, we'll catch you next time on the couch. See ya.